Wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is two $25 vouchers for just $25 to 72 Table and Tap. Try one of the 20 beers on tap or any of the 150 whiskeys. They also serve salads, tasty bar food, flatbreads, pizzas, sandwiches, and desserts. 72 Table and Tap. Eat, drink, gather, and repeat.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com. Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
A crossover is
crossover dribble.
Sing for the crossover.
Kyrie Irving, crossover in the lane. One of the most famous crossovers of all time.
Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul.
Crossover.
Crossover continues to evolve.
For the crossover, brought to you by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha and everlevelconcrete.com.
You guys ready for your Omaha, Kansas City rivalry in professional volleyball starting in 2025?
Yep.
Get it back together.
Bring it on.
Kansas City is getting a professional volleyball team to rival the Supernovas.
And you don't mess with the Supernovas.
It's about time.
That's what I'm saying. You don't mess with the Supernovas.
Hey, they don't start their season until January.
Yep.
Kudos to them. They've done a great job of marketing that team. They get a lot of publicity. They have some really people that we know that are working in their front office.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they have. I hope it works out for them because I think they're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
I hear more people talking about them, and they haven't even played a match yet.
Like every 2 weeks, they'll release something.
Yep.
And like a lot of leagues, you'd see, we just want everyone to be very excited. We'll release everything all at once.
I think players are all over the community as well. They're doing a lot of different stuff.
They definitely have a presence. Yes.
Yep.
I wonder what I imagine people will show up initially and say, "What's going on here?" You know? Take a look.
Yeah, if I don't know what their expectations are for crowds, but people are interested in volleyball. You'll be going against basketball. State. I think basketball is going to be pretty good in this city and in this state this year.
I think that's a good take.
I think it will keep your interest for a while.
I think that's a good take.
So that may impact some other sports. Just saying.
Baseball?
Well, it might take you a little bit longer to get into baseball because this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We've had 2 days of college basketball, but football is still interesting around here.
Yeah.
So we haven't made the transition fully into basketball. And we
might
not do that fully until January 1.
And that's fine.
Yeah, that's a good sign because that's how it should be.
Look at our local team's non-con slates. There's not much to write home about there.
Doane, Lindenwood, Florida A&M. What are you talking about? Last night, I don't think you texted me, but I believe that you were, that the question was after Creighton turned it over on their first 2 possessions.
What's wrong?
Should they just maybe redshirt Shireman, Alexander, and Kalkbrenner because it's going to be a lost season? Why waste their season?
I was concerned.
It's 8-6. Oh my God. Burn it down.
It was amazing. It was like, what's going on in here? They turned it over on the first 2 possessions.
Really know what I found out last night? So I sat with some people that they really have no filter on what they say out loud, either about the game that's going on or people they see. A lot of politicians were there last night. There are a lot more people than I would have imagined are triggered by the Creighton fan that doesn't get in their seat at tip-off.
It's always been a late arriving crowd.
Like they announce the starting lineups and the lower bowl is not completely full for a Florida A&M type game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy was like, can't be a serious program. He goes, I'm here when he goes, and he's a bit an older guy. He goes, I'm here when the boys come on the floor to begin their warm-ups. He goes, I sit in my seat. He goes, I stand, I cheer, I'm ready. But look at all these people that they're announcing their starting lineup, and that's disrespectful to the boys.
It has always been a late arriving crowd in that building.
Okay,
weeknights.
Is it late arriving because they're hanging in the Lexus Club,
Yes,
or is that a tough place to get into? Because I don't think it's a tough place to get into.
I think it's more the Lexus. You're hanging out in the concourse. You're getting beer.
The Jayhawk fans are late arriving.
People have their things that it's been a staple for a long time now. You have your thing that you're going to do before the game, and you have it all timed out. It's like, all right, game starts at 8. That means we're going to leave at 7:38, and we're going to be in our seats at 8 o'clock, right when the tip-off comes.
See, maybe you need to make it more difficult. So the Nebraska football fan, in my opinion, they are forced to get there early, because if you try and time from the parking lot and the last beer that you chug,
too much of a hassle.
And you can hear the band hit the field, and you're like, okay, I got the anthem. I don't want to be in the stadium for the anthem. So then I got a couple of songs, and then right at the tunnel walk, I want to be walking up the vomitory. You can't do that at Memorial Stadium because of the way it's built. You're all of a sudden pressed for time.
Mm-hmm.
So
I noticed in there.
Nebraska fans, also, I think Nebraska fans like to be in to watch the warm-ups.
Yeah.
But they're in there because, man, if I wait that long, I'm screwed, and I might even miss kickoff.
That's the way I would play it.
It's a bit more congested.
Maybe that's a Husker fan, because even in basketball, don't you notice a lot of fans like to get there early?
I like to be there early. I agree with that take.
You want to be there for the tunnel walk. Not necessarily kickoff, but you want to see the tunnel walk.
I want to make sure I'm there by the time that starts. And in order to do that, I'm probably going to be there about 15 minutes before that.
Now,
because then you're risking it.
Here's the opposite.
You might get jammed in there.
Of a Creighton basketball, Nebraska basketball. So the Creighton basketball thing is a social hour. That's what I found last night. Everywhere we walked, we stopped to see you, and we stopped a lot of people there. The Nebraska thing, the social hour happens before you get in the arena.
Yeah.
In the arena, it's not like, hey, we're visiting with friends. It's I'm in there. Let's go. Let's play basketball.
But there is value to the family thing too, because it's all the same. You're sitting around the same people every single game, and and that whole thing. So if they have to sacrifice having a late arriving crowd, and they got and usually they're. I mean, you'll notice this too, and you'll notice it on like Thursday night when that same team goes to Lincoln. Like, there's just more buzz generally at Creighton games, even though it is a later arriving like crowd. There's more focus on the individual things that are happening in the basketball game, like the oohs and the ahs and stuff like that. But there is more of like a noise and a buzz, I think, at the Creighton game, just a natural kind of sound. I think a lot of that has to do with probably the Bud Bar, where people are just kind of standing and hanging out and talking before the game.
Still, even though you can drink at Pinnacle Bank, it wasn't like last year where it was just, I saw people just, fist after fist of beers.
No, they grab their beers and they sit down.
Yeah.
At Creighton games, you grab your beers and you stand up and you grab one of those cocktail tables. And you
get a high top.
Yeah.
Hey, and then you can watch Jay's live. Josh, our boy over here.
I'm so proud.
Great job. But hey,
so proud.
They got to do something different. You did take up the whole video board.
Well, the last game, so we didn't have the wide angle shot last night. I
don't know what that was called. That was a hell of an angle.
We had in the exhibition game, we had like a wider angle so we could see like the entire arena, and it wasn't as much about like me right in the taking up the entire screen. But yeah, good. So I saw a screenshot of where I was looking down for a second because I was figuring out what I was going to say next, and just my head, just the top of my head is right there. By the way, should we play a game of let's read the comments on Gary's picture from last night?
Please.
We got some good ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Ray, who's just triggered that I'm everywhere.
So you got to read the original tweet.
Gary was very nice. He says, this guy at Connor Happer is a big deal. And it's a picture of me
on the video board.
On the video board. And then the first comment is from Ray, who says, why does this guy do play-by-play for Husker women's hoops? I don't. And yet does this for Creighton. Very odd, or just a big annoying J-sker. Why not both, I say.
Oh.
Now, Gary defended me very, very nicely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
What a good teammate.
And then Ray, so you said, he's got a lovely voice and he's got to feed his family. And Ray said, I think he does too much. He should spend more time at home with his wife, in my opinion.
Wow. All right.
Which I thought was great.
Poll question?
Yeah.
Should Connor Happer spend more time
with his wife?
Okay, then we got this. Get his mug off the screen, which And then there was like a crying, laughing face
Yeah.
emoji because I maybe that one was sarcastic.
Yeah, it's supposed to be funny.
He's a dead ringer for Yukon Cornelius, which I really like.
I like that one, and good on you, Josh, to put that graphic in there. That was good.
Happy to help.
Matt said, so he's a J-skirt, ... People are just figuring this out now. I've been very clear about this for many years.
Every basketball season, they're reminded of it, though.
Yep. And then my favorite two were right here at the end. This one's from Just Plumbing 2021.
Oh, yeah. Just Plumbing. What up?
I hate his talk show. Before and after his are great, but channel gets turned at 10.
So he's not hearing you read his tweet.
It's because he's just plumbing.
And here's my personal favorite from Dave. Is it Make-A-Wish Day?
Wow. That was a little harsh. Wow. Come on.
Poll question?
Oh.
I do not have an incurable disease that I know of. All right? And no.
Oh, man.
I don't think Creighton's doing this for charity, but who knows?
Maybe there will be a segment on Jay's Live this year where Connor reads me.
Yeah.
Oh, good one.
I think it'd be awesome.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Then you can get the crowd laughing.
Hey, we just hired a video person here at the lovely Energy Media hallways.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe their first video can be Connor reads.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you put your face out there.
Now, I don't know if you heard the show earlier. Gary legitimately felt bad that by thinking he was.
Oh, you guys have to realize that I don't care.
Giving you a compliment that all of a sudden you did get that.
No.
So I mentioned I think Gary's just a habitual line stepper and he knew what he was getting himself into. But I really feel his intentions were good.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Connor and I had a discussion last night about mute over the block.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is I'm not muting any. I've only muted a couple people I think ever. And
I've
just
muted a
because
few. I don't block though.
No, only Pat McAfee has blocked me.
Nice.
And
Jeez.
Yeah.
How'd you get blocked by Pat McAfee?
Don't know. Getting figured out.
I have the same problem, but with Reggie.
Hey, is there
Miller.
a way to find out?
With who?
Reggie Miller?
Reggie Miller blocked you?
Wow.
Okay.
You know,
Now-
Desmond Howard never blocked me, and
Now I was
critical
blocked
like
by
everyone
Big
else.
Ben, and I'd never ever said anything about the Steelers or Big Ben, but
Big
apparently
Ben.
he
Wow.
blocks thousands.
Big
daily.
Ben, Parliament.
Hey Russ, look.
Is that,
Hey kids, look.
wouldn't there be something
Big Ben Parliament.
if you could find out who blocks you?
Well, you can. You just have to kind of seek it out.
Well, yeah, you have to do that. But like, you could go to a
Like there's a
list of people that have you blocked.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised
That'd be
old
sweet.
Elon hasn't made that a feature for $5.99 a month.
So
you can find out
dating app. Or you
I'd
can
pay
make
for
phone
it.
calls
Yeah,
on
you
it.
can find out who blocked you.
I'd pay as much as that for Peacock.
Now I've blocked a lot of celebrities, but I believe that's
You had
the
a little
only
run-in
one.
with Barstool, so yeah, you had to.
You blocked all of Barstool, Josh?
No, I didn't actually. I
Okay.
blocked
Was this the-
JJ Watt.
Did JJ Watt come at you?
JJ Watt
No.
can't see my tweet.
No, because when I wake up in the morning, I don't want to see, hey, I'm up chopping wood. Why are you still in bed, fat ass? Look at my Callahan Auto shirt. I'm so relatable. Fraud.
You know what, Josh? I don't care if we disagree on everything in the world. There is one person who gets me because I also, when I saw that Hard Knocks and JJ Watt with the Texans, that was exactly my whole takeaway. I'm like, he is trying way too hard to impress me.
Flipping a big tire.
Listening to Remember the Name.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah.
I'm like, if this is not just douchebaggery at its finest, I don't know what is.
Yep.
It really was. So Josh, thank you for seeing me eye to eye on that.
Thank you for
one.
being on the right side of
Oh,
history. Nick.
So have you guys got this? So people will ask, hey, can you ask Severe why he's blocked me?
Oh, no. I haven't.
Severe has like thousands of people blocked.
Really? Oh,
But I told him he should have one day a year where he grants people an unblock.
What a great
oh, there
bit.
you go. Yeah.
That is an amazing bit.
I
He
will
chooses
unblock
his
you.
top 10 and he unblocks you on that day.
Now, how
And then
do you
see
qualify?
how long you he just chooses you.
Okay.
Oh, no,
And
you've got to send in something like a plea.
Well, you can't
Like a
tweet
Facebook
at him because you're
message.
blocked.
Yeah.
But then he unblocks you, and then it's on you or him to figure out how long that will last. So you do it once a year. I'm going to take 10 people. You get unblocked. Yeah, but people will go, hey, why? Can you ask Severe why he's blocked me? Now, the one I know for sure I'm blocked is Malachi Coleman,
Oh.
and I know why I'm blocked.
Oh, did you have a bad take?
No, I was not even a take. It was a picture of the Lincoln East Elkhorn South playoff game last year.
Hey, I remember that.
And you and I, we were at the
Yeah.
game together. And I said, first quarter, Malachi Coleman 1 target, no catches. And the
Did
next
you
morning,
add him?
huh?
Did you add him?
No.
Mm.
But then there was a lot of like responses.
So he vanity searches.
Yeah, he searches.
Yeah.
Oh, I would.
And
if
then
I was.
I found out I was blocked because then when he was going through the whole recruiting process, I would be tagged on things, and
You couldn't see it.
yeah, I couldn't see his.
Oh.
So like maybe do I go to Lincoln and after a game go, hey, I got my phone out here. Can we? Why? Can you unblock me?
Can we talk?
I don't
man?
follow like.
Yeah, just
I don't follow student athletes unless they maybe play for Omaha men's basketball. But
has anybody actually done that in person? Because it's very 2023.
Where you
to
go up
not-
to someone and be like, "Hey, man,
Yeah,
you blocked
unblock me on Twitter.
You blocked
yeah.
me. Can you remove me from that list? I'd really like to be unblocked."
I would assume usually that fight happens either internally or online in some other form or fashion.
Yeah.
you block someone and then you scrub your social media of said team or whatever. That's how you go about
Yep.
it. I would pay $5.99 one-time fee to find out people's blocks or who's blocked you. Because wouldn't you be curious on a former coach at Nebraska
Oh yeah.
how many people he blocked on Twitter
Yeah.
when he
yeah.
periodically used it?
Because I don't think he's
would it-
smart enough.
which
for the mute
one?
Would it be
feature.
the majority of the Nebraska media?
I don't think he had the time to block people.
No.
I don't think he really cared that much about that. Personally,
Okay.
So you think he has a low blocking percentage?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, you might be onto something because he
I think his
he did
blocks
have
per
his
game was
header
0.
as Nebraska football coach
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, I don't
And
think he's like really into that.
And he's just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go to a deer stand.
Now, what about 2 coaches before him?
Bo?
Yeah,
Bo was
Bo
wasn't as-
was kind of on social media.
but yeah.
Was he? Was it him though?
Yeah,
Or did he have-
I
okay.
think so.
All right.
Yeah,
It was him.
Because I remember the faux Pelini tweet was pretty funny.
right.
And then I
He
cut
obviously became aware of this after a long
Yeah.
period of
Yeah.
time. Yeah, I would imagine that he jumped in and blocked some folks.
Now, does
Including Sean
Rhule
Eccles?
have a message? If you try and tweet at Rhule, does it say, I'm in the middle of the season, I'll respond
Yeah.
in December?
Yeah, it's like
Sorry.
the be back in 15 minutes sign.
I'm on 0.
Because a
dark
guy
30.
that went from like tweeting a lot to all of a sudden shuts her down.
Yeah, it's like when you email someone and they're on vacation and you get the automatic reply. Like I will be checking my tweets periodically, but it'll be hard to reach until January 19th.
But they also see the tweets. It's like nobody's
Yeah.
nobody's on.
Yeah, just like you
vacation.
see the emails.
Yeah,
you
you're
know?
gonna check it.
I want to see like who people have blocked because like with coaches, like what about that recruit that spurned him? Like does Rhule? Yeah, I know I'm not on social media, but I went in and I blocked
Yeah.
Kawan
Blocked him.
Lacey.
Yeah. Blocked them.
Recruits that turn you down.
So if you want to
or
come back
mess
to
with you,
me,
you start
good
blocking.
luck.
I know because you got
Players that leave the program, they're blocked.
That's
blocked.
actually a great strategy because when he re-downloads Twitter at the end of the year, because he's got to hop back on there. He's really
Yeah.
good at it.
Yeah.
So when he hops back on there at the end of the season, he could just basically scroll through all of his mentions and have a really nice tracking of how people felt during the season.
Oh yeah,
And he
Oh.
can use those as receipts.
It'll be like the
So-
you're right. It'll be like
so,
the roller coaster of the
Coach,
season
yeah.
right
Hey,
there. Yeah,
Coach, if you didn't already know about the fishbowl of Nebraska football, which you've alluded to now numerous times,
look at how many mentions.
I can't wait till you look back at Twitter.
It's for, yeah, I'm gonna scroll through all 150,000 of these
That might be true. That might be selling short.
and
Might be 500,000.
He favorites some of them.
Yeah.
He bookmarks some of them.
Others get blocked.
Yeah, others get blocked.
Yeah.
You find out who's really OOU. In
See,
those
I think
situations.
Rhule. I think his blocking policy only if you made it like personal. If you like brought the family,
No,
up,
he
then,
wouldn't
then,
block.
then he'd block. But any type of like negative criticism of like what the hell you doing? We never should have brought
But
you.
it'd be
here.
funny.
I think that just fuels the Matt Rhule fire. I don't think he'd block you.
It'd
In
be
fact, he
funny
might acknowledge you.
if he got a tweet like in week 2 and the guy was like, "Hey, what the hell's going on here? I think you should probably be fired at Coach Matt Rhule." And then in week 7, he's like, "Actually, you're the greatest coach of all time." And then Matt Rhule like points that out after the season. Like, "Hey, what happened here?" It's almost like the process works.
And
Remember when
maybe Matt Rhule he quote tweets it.
Hey, remember when there was a time when we had players that would tweet during the game?
Oh yeah. Great time.
Those were good times.
Yeah.
Or Kenny Bell is on the bus going back to the airport and he's liking all these negative
Yeah.
tweets.
Yep. Maybe
The haters fuel them.
calling people on the sidelines, things of that nature.
Calling dads in locker rooms. It
But
happened.
Twitter can be a valuable tool. Parker Gabriel taught me the trick on what they were using at the Journal-Star to track coaches and recruits.
Yeah.
Like your latest follows, because it's hard now to organize them on just the latest.
Yeah.
But he he gave me this little hack how they were doing it to figure out a couple of like assistant coaches that ended up at Nebraska that like Frost or
I asked him about that
Davison
one.
or somebody else was starting to all of a sudden follow, but because the way Twitter was built, you couldn't see like the most recent.
Right.
And he had this hack, and so they were able to like pick out that Mark Whipple might or Matt Lubick might be coming to Nebraska.
All of a sudden, you start looking into that name, and then you find something.
Because you know how it is with like recruits.
I love.
All of a
Parker.
sudden, Tony White is following X guy.
Yep. Interesting. Why is Tony White following Trev Alberts?
But
I don't think the two have.
I think I just
saw Trev Alberts.
Why all of a sudden all the people that followed Ted Carter, Ohio State president, are following Trev?
There you go. You could really, I mean, that's just the beginning, right? That's what makes Parker so good. He gets the little breadcrumb at the beginning, and then he follows it.
Yeah.
But is it like Lane Kiffin
best.
that knows people will like jump onto that, so he likes to troll? Twitter. He's
incredible
like, hey, you know
idea.
what? If I go ahead and start following Nebraska's football program or start following Kansas State's football program, people are going to link me to that.
If I was a Nebraska football player, I would definitely search my name after every single game. I would try not to interact with people, but I would definitely be like, I wonder what they're saying.
The first experience I had of that was with Trey Bryant, because when he went out with the knee injury, I think I didn't add him, but I just said like something devastating to see Trey Bryant, this young have those knee issues or something. And I got a like later that night from Trey Bryant. From Trey Bryant.
Yeah.
Like,
now,
okay.
I would be.
I think
with
I talked
what you're
smack
saying
on Daniel Davey once.
I would be with you.
No, he's the nicest kid in the world.
Daniel Davey liked it.
He's so nice.
Back away.
Daniel Davey wanted me to know that he saw that tweet.
Daniel Davey's nice.
Daniel Davey was bad though.
He was bad, but he was such a nice kid.
I don't think if I was a quarterback at Nebraska, I would.
Yeah, that would be tricky.
No.
Yeah,
you could get in a dark spot. You could really be in a dark place.
Yeah, but if I was like, I don't know, if I was Mekhi Bayer, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm checking this out.
If I'm Nash, I'm all over it. Just feeding my ego, baby. Luke Reimer.
Yeah, because you already have an expectation of what it's going to be like in there.
But there are some people, what Josh was saying, do search their name, but some will do it like in our business in the middle of a game. Dan Dockich, when he was normal, did a game. Omaha was playing KU, and him and Benetti were doing the game. And the night before, they were staying in our same hotel, so sat in the bar and
that was the Monday night game.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And so we were talking about social media, and Dockich says, "Oh yeah, I'm always searching my name during games." He goes, "I'm gonna call out them fools." And you remember when he was on ESPN?
That's a lot of fools to call out.
And remember on ESPN, in the middle of games, he would respond to people on Twitter.
Incredible.
Oh my God.
Just incredible stuff.
Amazing.
See, that's taking it a little too far.
He said, it's not just my mentions. He goes, I search because there are people that are afraid to put my name, but I'll respond to them.
Yeah.
All right. If that's the game you want to play, that's more power to you, buddy.
Everybody at Dan Dockich today, just for fun.
Want to know if you're paying attention.
Multiple people saying in our YouTube comments that they probably got blocked by Scott Frost because they tried to order a MacBook when and they called him out for not being the real Scott Frost.
They were autographed Mac.
Autographed MacBooks.
It's like, what the hell is this?
See, we don't know how to handle what kind of is a normal football program right
now.
We haven't had any major drama.
Nothing too crazy.
No.
I mean, but
what
people
happened?
But be careful. Be careful.
Like the Arik Gilbert thing, I thought was handled very well, and within 24 hours, it was kind of like, all right, it's done.
You gotta be careful because when you say this, it's testing fate.
That's true.
Fair question to ask. So, did he ever get the waiver?
Yeah, I thought didn't someone ask us that on the? I think someone asked us that on the stream the other day. So, did he ever get the waiver? They withdrew it.
Do you think Nebraska got it, opened it, and went, what the?
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Upon further review, we are happy to say that we are granted immediate eligibility.
But something to what you said, Connor, that is a story that quickly, because then he got in trouble back in his hometown.
Yeah. Right. And then it kind of shifted to that.
Yeah. That was like a day and a half story, and then it just went away.
Yep. It was over because that was the week of the game. We had one week until that game, and so that probably helped too. And the fact that we didn't know if he's going to be eligible to begin with. if he was eligible, maybe it's a bigger story. I don't know.
Star Wars Fiend says we should just all do this mean tweets segment. Just do a mean tweet segment, or maybe it's not even a segment. Maybe it's like a video bit or something like that, like Josh said, where we read all the mean tweets directed at us, like they do for NFL or like on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Yeah,
the Jimmy Kimmel show hit a home run with that bit.
It's a great bit.
And getting
It's
NBA
really
players to do it.
Yeah.
Because it humanizes the people too.
Like the Jimmy Butler ones are like
if you have a good attitude about it, then it makes you like a lot. You know.
Yeah. Even the people who are mean tweeting, you probably see that and they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
He's just like me.
My favorite is when they're clearly reading it for the first time.
Yeah.
And they like
they can't get through it.
Like they react to it
Yeah.
like, oh,
yeah.
really?
They can't get through it. Yeah. 'Cause they're laughing so hard.
Got me there.
Yep.
Got me there. Yep. So I look forward to when more and more people go to the Creighton games this year and they continue to see me on the...
about the basketball team. Well, like, you know, they'll lose a game and, you know, the tweets will come. Just save those tweets for like a halftime show when they're playing really well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Creighton's up by 26 at halftime. Let's go check out the tweets from the halftime of the North Dakota State game when they were only up by 6. Let's check them out.
Would Scott Frost reading mean tweets like actually been like maybe
Oh my God!
One of the best things that like Husker Vision could have ever done. Like at halftime, you just have Scott Frost reading mean tweets.
That actually might have like helped him.
Yeah, it would have.
It would have absolutely.
I think it would have.
He should start a podcast right now. Just read that.
Yeah, Scott Frost mean tweets. I'd listen.
Let's go back 2 years on my mentions and see what happens.
But first, an ad from Grizzly Chew. Proud sponsor.
He was a Cope guy.
That's true.
No, he was a Skull guy.
Yeah, I bet I could see him being a Skull.
Dude, I once saw he had some Skull peach. And I was
really?
Yeah. And in the chewing community, that's like very frowned upon.
That is. I used to chew it as either a spearmint or wintergreen.
That would not be. I couldn't.
I did Skull straight. Come on,
because you're a man.
I am.
I haven't chewed in a long time, but I did chew. I just can't imagine the peach.
Oh, it makes your car like I tried. There was like a citrus one once. I tried when I was like in high school. It made my car smell for like months. Like couldn't get it out. It just smelled like fruity tobacco, and it just lingered.
What do you think Scott Frost's office smelled like?
Tobacco spit.
It
Spitters.
was fine.
Shame.
It was fine.
No, it was fine.
It was fine.
Okay.
It wasn't like a.
Wasn't spitters.
I don't know. I was in there a couple times.
Did he have multiple spitters around?
No.
Okay.
No.
One spitter.
Oh,
just one spitter. no, one, and it was sacred.
So I can tell this. I think I'm the statute of limitations over. I don't think he'll be.
He's not going to hear this.
He's got a different job now. So you guys know that when Trev was in transition and looking for a job after his TV, you know that he was in the Nebraska football program for like an hour or two.
No,
I did not know.
Like he was going to work in the Nebraska football program when Bo was the head coach.
So
really?
This is probably what, late 2000s.
This is like
like 04 or 05.
It's like the first year.
Okay.
So T.O. was like, "Do you want to get in football, coaching or operations or whatever?"
Mm-hmm.
Trev, his first day, was appalled by all of the spittoons that staff had. Open spittoons in the football office. And he was like, "This isn't for me."
That sounds right. Sure. That's pretty on brand.
There were no open spittoons, but there was the garbage can that was right next to his desk that I think was being used.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't spit it into the garbage.
I don't know.
Just take a paper Pepsi cup and put a napkin in it.
Okay, so Satterfield has the look of a guy that chews.
I think he does. No, you're right. I know what you're saying. But not just because he comes from South Carolina.
Well, credit this staff though, because they don't. That you would never know. They hide it really well if they're doing it.
Well, you think compared to the previous staff where they didn't mind having a fatty stand on the sidelines?
Yeah, they did not hide it.
Nope.
Yeah,
they did not hide it.
I mean, Harbaugh never hides it. He shows up in media days and he's got a dip can in his back pocket.
Do we make too big of a deal out of that? Is that something that we should care about?
Well,
it is against NCAA rules.
Yeah.
Well, and it's against.
But like, okay.
Well, you remember? So I've told the story. It was like the first couple of weeks of the season in 2018 where all of a sudden these guys are on the sidelines and they're chewing.
Yeah.
And they're not hiding it, nothing.
University rules.
Yeah. So the next Monday,
yeah.
somebody from the university
Yeah.
put up all of these signs around the football building of you cannot have tobacco on campus. Like not just like the signs you stick in the ground.
They put out like a whole
These were
release
like-
about it.
Yeah.
They made a big deal about it.
Yeah.
They're like reminder, no tobacco use.
I don't know.
Now,
I
is
mean,
it a stupid rule? Probably.
does
Right.
like Ed Service doesn't chew.
No.
Ethan doesn't, or Evan doesn't chew.
Will doesn't.
Will does.
I think
don't
Will
think-
used to.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't think he does anymore.
Will's one of those guys. I think also as a head
Hey,
coach.
did Erstad chew?
I think Darren did. I do. Now he never made
He
it
seemed like
noticeable.
more of a chaw guy.
He never made it noticeable, but I
And what do
think
you
he
do
did.
if
I bet
you're-
Darren wrapped up a nice little Scooby snack.
Yeah. What do you do if you're a basketball coach and you like to chew?
Oh, that's impossible.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't.
You just you have the plastic water cup the entire time, and you're just like
Most
Make it
likely
look-
basketball coach to chew. Bob Huggins.
oh totally
Yeah.
Yep. See if Will did, and it wouldn't shock me if he did. He's one of those guys. If he expects his guys not to, he's not going to even lead on that he's like hiding it, so he won't.
Yeah.
Like I totally believe that he might have, but yeah, definitely you won't see it. He probably isn't doing it anymore.
We probably care. We probably think too much about this. This is Nebraska.
Yeah.
We think too much about this.
Well, just because you had a guy that was pretty open about doing it.
I think he
I
did
mean,
during some
and it
press.
was
Very, very
It
open.
was
He did during press conferences.
man.
By the way, is that Tank Dell?
Yes.
Why does he look like he's 12?
He does. He looks like
Because
he looks like he just signed his national
basically
letter of
is.
intent.
He looks like they're having a punt, pass, and kick kid on the show
He
right
does.
now. What's going on?
Yeah.
That's like
Wow.
that's Tank Dell.
He is super young.
He looks even younger.
Also, I could watch Daria Gumbawale kick field goals.
I
all
loved
day
watching. Did
long.
you see him like when he was
Yeah.
warming up at halftime?
Did you see the
He-
boot on the kickoff?
Yeah.
I mean, he hammered that thing.
He's got like a soccer leg. He actually had good form and everything. It was good.
Daria Gumbawale, the star of the 2015 Nebraska-Wisconsin
Remember
game.
that? Yep.
When besides Andy Janovich, of course.
Yeah. That's the Amani Cross. Nebraska's back near their own goal line, and they run Amani Cross in a stretch play.
Yeah.
Where Amani Cross cannot run a stretch play.
No.
Yeah.
So then they just started handing it off to Jano. And
So that game ended with the
And the stadium shook.
50-some yard field goal.
I don't think it was that long.
No, it was. Yeah, it was like I want to say it was only like maybe
Can you name the kicker for
42 yards?
No, because I was in Vegas and I was hammered.
Rafael Gaglianone.
Oh yeah, Gagliano. Yep. I forgot the first name though.
He missed the first one. They had two
Yep.
shots to win it. He missed the first one, and then Jano had the big run, and it was the whole "let me clear my throat"
Yeah.
thing, and then they kicked the field goal immediately after that one.
Yep.
Yeah, it's tough. Daria Gumbawale.
Have you we'll get out of here so you can get started. Everybody downloaded Peacock? Ready for the weekend?
Oh, I'm all locked in. yeah.
I've been on Peacock for a
I'm
while.
a frequent user since
Yeah.
day
I've had-
one.
You strike me as an EPL guy.
Hell yeah, Josh.
No.
Oh, Martin Gramatica.
But if any two men have been shirtless and grappled in the ring, I can watch it on Peacock.
I asked this earlier.
He does like
Nick
wrestling.
told me to do archive games. Guy told me that he said probably the Nebraska Maryland game will not be up on their archive until like 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like later in the
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I
'cause
guess
it takes a
I'm not going to be watching.
Yeah,
live.
I never knew the turnaround time.
So the other thing we were talking about, like, BTN will replay games. I don't think they have access to Peacock games.
Oh,
Yeah, I've never
Really?
seen the NBC scorebug on any of the 60
Why would they not?
Big,
What-
Big Ten games.
wouldn't
in
they
60?
share it all?
They
'Cause
have
it's all
the
conference?
they have the NBC games.
Yeah.
Because I just watched Illinois Maryland this morning.
Oh,
'cause I'm a
okay.
sicko.
Okay.
Then I bet they do.
I don't know about Peacock exclusive games.
Because I've never seen like the Purdue Iowa game. I didn't see on there.
They had Iowa Northwestern big in 60.
Okay.
Okay, then
All
they,
right, so
then
do
they do.
show that.
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness for that one too.
The quality looks really good.
Yeah.
Like
So-
the Peacock game quality wise looks really good.
Is that what people are going to do? Like if they really don't want to download Peacock, they're going to have to watch it on the Big Ten Network like later. or the next day.
Or they're going to go to a bar, or
Yeah.
they're going to go to somebody's house.
Jeez.
Hey,
And they're going
Just
to
pay
realize
the $5.
they realize it's cheaper to get Peacock than to go buy a ticket to go to the ball game.
Yeah, huge hassle.
Hey, are they ever going to play another game at Wrigley after that? The manhole, the pothole that they had there towards the goal line.
Oh yeah,
That was like crazy.
Not unless
I'd like to see Nebraska.
the
play
only
there.
way would be Northwestern needs a facility.
Yeah, Northwestern's going to have to
during
move
the
there.
transition. They better re-solidify that turf because that was bad.
Well,
Like after every play, having to pack it back down with sand, that was really bad.
I don't know. They may have to. They may not be getting a new stadium after all. Who knows?
2 p.m. Sunday.
Is when
Maryland, Nebraska, big and 60.
There you go.
Okay.
You'll have to watch it that way if you're
So
just
avoid all the
anti-Peacock.
spoilers.
Yeah.
Yep. If you can make it a whole 24 hours.
Now, remember, with big and 60, you get zero analysis of the play that just
That
happened.
is true,
It's just
and very
the
little
play.
replay.
Yeah.
You might get a replay on a touchdown if you're lucky.
It goes fast.
It does.
One of the best things that MLB did is doing the condensed 20-minute.
Oh, those are great.
Mm.
You could just pick them all on
Yeah.
the MLB website or on the app. Fantastic. They have they take it through it like a highlight. Like there's a guy who takes you through all the stuff in the 20 minutes. It's amazing.
Do you know that local TV, in terms of highlights, now they'll all be down there shooting, but they do like to run. They have to sign up for Peacock. Like they do not give them a special link to just download
Really?
stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Not even the NBC affiliate?
Nope. So over at WWT, they
just
have to
get
download Peacock
and then rip it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've said this after watching Florida A&M last night. Tominaga could sit out. He's practicing.
Yeah.
Take that, Florida A&M.
Oh,
Tominaga should definitely still sit out though.
Yes. He should
Just my personal opinion.
He should go through maybe go through a warm up or two.
Yeah.
Wave to the crowd.
Yeah. Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Take a couple practice threes.
When does Nebraska play next after that?
Is it next Monday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah, it is.
No, I'm just guessing.
I think it is Tuesday.
It is Monday.
Is it Monday? Okay, wow.
Monday against Ryder. Get him back for Ryder.
Ryder.
That'd be a good return to the MAC.
They're going to play their first two games. Lindenwood and Florida A&M are against two of the worst 20 teams in the country. Literally.
Hey, be careful. Next week, Omaha plays Lindenwood in Colorado Springs. So I think Lindenwood right now is really good. They're better than Florida A&M.
They are not, according to Ken Palm. But that's just Ken Palm. That's just one.
Is
man.
Ken Palm updated?
That's his crazy
Ken Palm is
metrics.
updated through night two.
Okay. Creighton is?
The Blue Jays are up to, I believe they were 12 yesterday. They're up to 11.
Boom.
All right. Enjoy your Godfather's pizza.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of
14 minutes to go, and they'd hit 75.
You're going to get a lot of that.
Those are rookie numbers. You got to bump those up.
They should honestly make the Godfather's thing 100.
This year? Yeah. Like Godfather's redoes their contract?
88.
No. Hey, that's if they give you your incentive of, hey, you got to have in your season ticket money by June 30th to get the Godfather's deal, and you did because you love yourself some Godfathers, they would riot.
Yeah, they would. It would be a bad deal.
This year, it appears that Godfathers, we're going to put Godfathers out of business, so we're going to up it to maybe 90.
I just remember back in the day, it used to be such a struggle for Creighton to get to 75.
Oh, 75, like by the last media timeout, you're like, oh my God, we're close. We're close.
How long's that promotion been going on?
Oh,
it's a great
as long as they've been there.
It's a great marketing deal.
Yeah, at least 20 years.
Yeah,
at least 20
as long
and
as
it's
they've
always
been
been 75.
Yes,
I think so.
Yeah, it's always been 75.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I was telling Nick this earlier. I remember when I was in school, Taco Bell or it might have been Amigos or Taco Inn would do, like, if Nebraska gives up less than 65, you get a free taco or a free Runza.
That's a good one. Defense.
Yeah, they did defense.
I remember Tim Miles had one with Runza. During the Tim Miles era, there was something with Runza.
We had one for women's basketball where if they did something, I think it was a certain amount of points, they got a box combo from Raising Cane's.
Whoa,
and
okay.
I would go over the PA and I would say, chickens. I missed that.
Chickens.
and Josh's reaction to that would be
free toast.
Disgusting.
Texas toast.
All right, boys, have a good day.
All right, that is the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. We'll start things off next.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. Mornings with Sharp and Handley.
Hyannis? Thank God you had Terry Keneally, or we would not like you in Omaha. Just telling you.
I feel like Nebraska City's one of us.
I mean, Hemingford? You should have just gone to Wyoming. Why did you insist on staying in Nebraska? Same with you people in Whitney. Just go to Wyoming.
Go consolidate your schools.
Yeah. You know what, Crawford? You're not good enough for Wyoming. Just go to South Dakota.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from Canoyer Garden Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
The wind picking up on Wednesday. We'll see north to northwest winds gust 20 to 30 miles per hour, though still staying mild, partly sunny skies, highs in the low 60s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
With over 45 years in business, Thrasher Foundation Repair makes stressful home repairs super easy with precise repair and genuine care. From basement waterproofing to foundation repair, concrete restoration, and crawl space repair, you can count on Thrasher to handle it with ease and expertise. Schedule a free estimate today at gothrasher.com.
Precise repair, genuine care. Thrasher.
It's the most time-honored tradition to start the weekend, grabbing a cold one from a local Nebraska brewery. Let's be real here. It's hot outside, and you don't want to drink the same boring beer as those Hawkeye fans. Drink icy cold, Nebraska-brewed beer, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag One Beer Friday, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card to a local Nebraska brewery. Nebraska is the good life with great beer. Click nebraska.beer to learn more.
The most wonderful time of the year is upon us again. No, not Christmas. Oyster Fest at Shuck's Fish House. This Wednesday and Thursday, get $8 a dozen East Point oysters plus many other specials. All 3 locations. Find out more at shucksfishhouse.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
Get ready. Start the NFL week off right. What a doozy do we have on Thursday. Right now, all customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay for Thursday night football. All you got to do, it's pretty easy through FanDuel. Just place a 3-leg same-game parlay on this week's game between Knicks Bears and Matt Rhule's Panthers. And you'll get bonus bets back if you don't win.
That's right. It's the overall first pick bowl going on Thursday. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. Build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. Just go to FanDuel.com, use the promo code ZONE, and you don't miss out on your chance to get a no-sweat same-game parlay on America's #1 sportsbook. Again, that is FanDuel.com/zone. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in Iowa. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
The Mavericks hit the road for the first time this year when they travel to Fort Worth to take on the Horned Frogs of TCU. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Sharp, voice of Omaha men's basketball. The Mavs, game number 2, take on nationally ranked TCU. It'll be a big matchup coming over Thursday night right here on 1180 The Zone. Pregame 6:30, tip 7.
It's the Connor Happer Show with Connor Happer and Josh Otson. Let's get ready to rumble.
Licensing of the phrase "let's get ready to rumble" just over the last 7+ years internationally is grossed approximately close to $400 million in retail sales.
Really?
You guys look like, what do they look like, Jimmy?
Dorks. They look like a couple of dorks.
On 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It is the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. And good news for you, if you'd like to just listen on the radio, you don't have to see me do the show. You could, or if you want to, you can just follow us along on 1620thezone.com. As you could see, according to my little subtitle here, I was voted as people's sexiest man alive. Congratulations to me.
Yeah, big honor for you.
I don't know what this stuff about Patrick Dempsey's going on today, but it was actually me. So great news. Great news for me. It's another great honor, certainly. We're off and running on a Wednesday. I would like to talk about the quarterbacks, Nebraska's quarterbacks, that is, and what happens in the next 3 games, if the next 3 games can change anything about what we think is going to happen in the future, and then what might happen this offseason as Nebraska prepares for their, they're trying to get to a bowl game, but they're also trying to put themselves in the best position to have a winning team in 2024 as well. We'll talk about that. We'll discuss the Blue Jays from last night who opened their season in a dominant fashion over Florida A&M. And of course, we'll talk a lot about the Michigan punishment, which may be coming down this afternoon. And with every passing hour, the story gets weirder and weirder. There's another weird thing that happens.
I can't even keep track of it all.
Same here. I feel like I've hit a couple of the bullet points. And last night when people had found out that Blake Corum was running a business with Connor Stallions, and Blake Corum was like, "No, actually, I'm not." But his name is on the LLC, and the business is called like BC2 or something.
Yeah, and hey, here's an old Instagram post from like 3 years ago where he mentioned
you can't just lie.
You should start an LLC.
Everybody knows about this. So this is very, very exciting stuff that we'll dive into on the show today. Elsewhere, Robin Washut will join us in a couple minutes. We'll talk Husker hoops as they began against Lindenwood, and then we'll go up against the vaunted Florida A&M Rattlers on Thursday, who were just taking the Nebraska tour this week.
The
loop around. Wonder where they're staying, Josh.
That's a good question.
Wonder which parts of the state they're experiencing. Maybe they drove out to Chimney Rock.
Oh, you got to see it.
Just to see it. Something that I have never sing personally. Mitch Sherman will join us in the 1 o'clock hour. We'll ask him about his artful question asking skills, journalisming, things of that nature, and the aforementioned quarterback situation. And the tweet bag is coming up at noon today. Get in your tweets at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed, or Connor at 1620thezone.com, the Equitable Bank inbox, Josh O at 1620thezone.com there as well. You could also call or text 402-951-1620. Calling on the 42 degrees, the source hotline by your mom's house. We say good morning to our YouTube watchers, which is another place that you can comment in if you're interested in interacting with the show. And we appreciate it when you do so. And you can find the stream very conveniently located on our website, 1620thezone.com. We begin today with a phone call. Guess who it is? It's Triggered Bob. Is he triggered? What's the scale today, Bob?
It's about a 6 out of 10, if we're going to be honest.
Okay.
And, I'm always here for the consumer, so I think I speak for most of the Husker fan base when I say we're just tired of kind of watching with bated breath every time our quarterback steps back to pass, or maybe a guy on scholarship is back to return a punt, and we're just waiting for the worst to happen. So I'm just trying to get your thoughts on this. I know, Josh Dobbs is a professional athlete, but he shows up to a new city, doesn't even practice, doesn't know anybody's name, and somehow comes back and wins the game. And I'm not asking for that. I'm not asking for a Heisman winner back at quarterback. I just don't understand how we just don't have serviceable guys on the team to at least not lose this game at quarterback or punt return. I mean, there's 11 quarterbacks that played that are rookies and played in the NFL this year. So there's dudes out there that are young and ready to play. I think it's well documented that Casey Thompson didn't want to leave, but ended up leaving. So yeah, just help me reconcile all that.
Well,
Thanks,
thanks, Bob. Appreciate it, and I appreciate your mild manners today. 6 out of 10. It's very, you can handle that.
I appreciate the good self-scout as well.
For sure. So first of all, like the comparison with the NFL, like the thing you have to understand about those guys is that physically, like they can make all the throws, and they're not going to be there's a scale there, but they're in the NFL, and you have to do a lot of things well to make it to the NFL, to even occupy a roster spot in the NFL. Like, right? They have the physical traits and attributes that if you could plug them into a situation, it's going to be at the very least, like it won't be horrible. Right. And what it's more about in the NFL is having the operation around them. I mean, you heard them talk about it this week. When Dobbs came in on, like you said, Thursday, like it is learning the very specific game plan for that game and getting those plays only. And then you can kind of just go. And then there's a added, I think, bonus to that too, where you don't have your mind filled with all this other stuff and other plays and trying to learn all the stuff on the fly. They made it easy for him, which was nice. But so the comparison is a little bit apples to oranges, but I understand. And so to compare that back to what's going on in Nebraska right now, like for a variety of different reasons, which I want to talk about, Nebraska, I think, has a bunch of guys in the roster who like don't have the physical who don't have the physical attributes, or at least the ability to make those sort of plays consistently. And I'd like to see Heinrich Haarberg when he is more comfortable and when he has a better grasp on what his role is and what he's supposed to be doing when things don't move too fast for him. But it's possible that we never get there with Heinrich Haarberg. He obviously has the arm, like the raw arm talent to be able to make some of these throws, but maybe we just find out about Heinrich Haarberg as we go on throughout the future that he can't make those throws consistently.
I agree with you, but also I see where the fans are coming from. Like I feel like you're Jeff Bridges and Iron Man. Tony Stark built this in a cave
with his bare hands and a bunch of scraps.
Josh Dobbs walked off the street and won an NFL game.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. You also have to, you also have to look at what Nebraska, and I don't want to make too many excuses. People do not like when we make excuses, but like the previous coaching staff and specifically last year's offensive coordinator looked at the current quarterback who's been playing the majority of the season for Nebraska football and said, no, thank you. And basically sat him to the side and said, you get no reps. We don't get to do anything with you. His development was completely stunted by last year. There's no doubt about it, right? Like that's a thing that exists. All the other quarterbacks that played last year left. And like if you're that staff in 2022 and you're Mark Whipple, like you're trying to figure out the best way to win games this year, you don't have time to worry about Heinrich Haarberg's development, right? You know that you have to figure it out in 2022. So I get it. Like I don't want to put too much on him, but there's no doubt that Heinrich Haarberg's development was stunted in 2022 by the fact that he was ignored. He was ignored by the previous coaching staff or by the previous offensive coordinator. So like that part of it is there. I would, and I don't know what happened with Chubba last year. Like he got in games and I'm not sure what happened. Maybe we're dealing with the same thing with Chubba and we're just saying, maybe that's just not there. Maybe he just doesn't have it. And then there was Sims and that obviously hasn't worked out as expected for Nebraska. He hasn't handled, it doesn't seem the kind of pressure in the fishbowl of the entire thing. Obviously the injury played into it as well. So you also have to look at like what you have. It's not like Nebraska can go sign a guy like Josh Dobbs, like a league minimum guy right now and put him in the game. If they had the opportunity, they would, I think. But I want to have that discussion later on how they view the quarterback spot. Like after this season, you're obviously going into the transfer portal for at least a guy, but what kind of guy is it? And what kind of guy can you attract? And
come on home, Zane.
Does Matt Rhule feel it is in a position where they can say they are a quarterback away? And how will that influence their decision making on what kind of quarterbacks they can go after. Some of it is the market for the quarterback, like what kind of market is there? Who's going to be in the transfer portal? You never know about that. So maybe that dictates some of the question as well. But also, what kind of quarterback? Are you going to get a developmental quarterback, a guy that you can have for 3 years and let him develop on the field on the fly in 2024? And are you going for stopgap guy with the opportunity to win some football games next year? And you feel like you could, if you just maximize that piece of it, you can really, really win. And if you're going with the first option, if you're going with the former, then and it's not a stopgapper and it is a 3-year guy, can it be Heinrich Harburg? Or is Heinrich Harburg the stopgap, right? So that's why I've heard people talking about this. Like, why is everybody talking about Heinrich Harburg, quarterbacking in the future? I think a lot of it comes into perspective when you look at what might be out there, what might not be out there, and what their options are this offseason. So I want to dive deeper on that discussion later. We'll certainly have it. Let's jump over to hoops. Robin Washut of Husker Online is coming up here in just a second. So Nebraska basketball will have their media availability at 11:30. So Robin should be good here in just one moment. We'll talk to Robin Washut of Husker Online when we return next on 1620 The Zone.
Ian Eagle here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. Join me along with one of this year's Hall of Fame inductees, Joe Thomas from Soldier Field in Chicago, for NFC action between the Bears and the Carolina Panthers. Both teams looking for a win to lift confidence at the season's halfway point. Don't miss any of the action. The Panthers and Bears on Thursday Night Football.
If it's the NFL, it's on 1620 The Zone.
J-Tech Construction reminds you that this time of year, your home's energy efficiency is under tension. Don't let your windows cost you by raising your energy bills this winter. J-Tech Construction will come out and provide you with a free estimate on upgrading your windows and keeping your energy costs down. They have custom-made, energy-efficient windows that keep the outside out with the professional installation you would expect. Contact the official exterior and solar experts of the Huskers. J-Tech Construction, your exteriorexperts.com.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is and has always been locally owned and operated. Now, with 160 employee owners, chances are one of us lives in your neighborhood. We take pride in taking care of you, our customers, and keeping you comfortable all year round. And as always, our technicians don't have sales quotas. When other companies send salespeople, Standard sends qualified technicians. It's just part of
Carrier, turn to the experts.
Hi, this is Kathy Canoyer. 'Tis the season at Glasshouse Market within Canoyer Garden Center. We'd like to be a part of your family's holiday tradition. Whether you're looking for a gift for that special someone or a wreath for your front door, we'd like to invite you to come shop our stunning holiday market full of Christmas decor, novelty items, and fresh greens. Shop Glasshouse Market, located within Canoyer Garden Center on 66th Street between Cornhusker and Highway 370 in Papillion. Open daily 10 to 6.
At Canoyer Garden Center, everybody's got a green thumb.
Planning something fun for your office, family, or friends? Joe's Karting is for you. Take a break. Come to Joe's to race, relax, and recharge. Great for team building. Ditch the speaker and burn some rubber. Trust us, Joe says you'll leave motivated. Joe's Karting race packages range from providing simple stress relief races to the real deal race experience. Check us out at joeskarting.com. Remember, go to Joe's, your place to race.
It's obvious the unthinkable is happening. With all the recent media distractions, most folks never saw it coming. But a few did. Their guts told them something very wrong was going on. And now the headlines are proving them right. The people in charge keep telling you that everything's fine and to stop noticing. But you know better. Folks are investing in emergency food storage, and you should too. My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, are the ones you can trust. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each contains tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one for each family member. My Patriot Supply also sells biomass stoves, off-grid room heaters for when the power goes out, gravity-powered water filters, heirloom seeds, and survival gear that may come in handy soon. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today. It's time to prepare for what's coming. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Jason Peter breaks down the Michigan State game and previews Maryland Thursday at Holy Ghost Church on 52nd and Q. Doors open at 5, program starts at 7, and it's only $10 for adults, $5 for children. Sponsored by Ray Martin Company and Mama's Pizza.
Nick Handley here for my friends at DJ's Dugout Sports Bar. Wow, this is our favorite time of the year at DJ's. There's Nebraska and college football, pro football, Creighton and Nebraska basketball, Nebraska and Creighton volleyball, UNO hockey and basketball, and more. Oh, my. Good thing DJ's Dugout is here to gather with family and friends to watch all the action. 7 metro locations, locally and Vietnam veteran-owned. Dig in at the Dugout.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
The biggest basketball coaching convention of.
And work on your stroke. Are you looking?
What?
You don't want to embarrass? I'm talking.
What is going on? Robin, are you okay?
Robin Washut.
Are your kids near you, or what just happened?
Husker Online.
I took a lot of preparation to make this thing a flawless interview, and clearly I still can't avoid it.
Robin Washut, Husker Online.
Maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was a phenomenon that we can't explain.
The Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
By the way, speaking of Josh Dobbs, he has been named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Right off the street.
Walking right off the street.
Remember when he met players on the sideline Sunday and took a snap from center?
Hi, how are you? I'm your quarterback now.
I'm Joshua. I go by Joshua, not Josh.
I'm here to lead you to victory, and I'm the pastor not. All right, Robin Washut joins us now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Hello, Robin.
Hello.
How are you?
Okay.
Are you in?
On signing day, doing our weekly chat, talking on the radio, heading over to basketball. That time of year.
How are you doing? How are you doing a chat and chatting with me and driving at the same time? That seems unsafe.
It's a juggling act that I don't even know how I do it sometimes, but I'm making it work just for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Is Keisei Tominaga playing tomorrow?
To be determined. I think today's practice was kind of the real benchmark because since the injury, he really hadn't done any full contact work in practice. But plan was after the game on Monday was that Tuesday they were going to ease him back in with some non-contact work, and then today they were going to try him out with some contact and to see how he responded not only today and just kind of how he's feeling after practice, but also how he felt tomorrow. So I still think that's to be determined. My whole thing though is, I think there's a chance and maybe even a good chance that he does play, but I think that even if he is in the lineup, it's going to be limited minutes. They're not going to go in there and have him play 30, 35 minutes like he was at the end of last season. I think he's probably going to be on a minute count and just kind of get his feet back and more importantly, his ankle back under him a little bit in some live game action. And then kind of progressively work him back to his normal workload as that ankle continues to heal.
Yeah, I would just say if you don't have to, you probably, which you definitely don't, then what's the point?
Yeah, the point, though, is that Nebraska still has not played a live opponent with its full complement of roster yet. And that includes 3 games in Spain, a close scrimmage against Utah, an exhibition against Doan, and then a regular season game against Lindenwood. So, they're still trying to get to the full picture of what this lineup looks like. And so to be able to get your main core players together on the floor when the lights are on, the games actually count, and people are watching, there's a lot of value in that, especially to do it before the competition level increases in a big way here in less than a month.
Okay, so you mentioned I want to get to what happened in the first game and then what might happen tomorrow here in just a second. But let's do the signing day thing since you mentioned it. It's today in college basketball. So Braden Frager is the big news, and we knew he was committed to Nebraska, but he was committed to Nebraska in the class of 2025. He will reclassify up to this year's class, so he'll. Am I understanding this right? He's going to play this year at Lincoln Southwest and then enrolled, skipping his last year of high school.
Correct. And so, there was some talk after he committed about this potentially being an option. And the question was more about whether or not he was going to play this year at Southwest and whether or not he might be a mid-year enrollee, similar to what, if you go back like Denham Dawson a couple years ago, where he enrolled and then redshirted at semester and basically just had a few extra months of experience and practices and workouts to get himself ready for the upcoming season. Well, Frager, I think, kind of shot that down pretty quickly. He's going to play this season at Southwest and then enroll at Nebraska officially in June. So, the real surprise, I guess, wasn't that necessarily he reclassed. It was whether or not when he was going to do it. And so, that's, you pair him with Nick Janowski, that's a pretty good start, that 24 class, where you got, one of the best players in the state on board, and then you got one of the best players in Wisconsin already in the books now, to where, you look ahead for the rest of the 24 class. I would imagine now they have the luxury of pretty much focusing through the transfer portal to kind of pick and choose what the positions of need are going to be after this season wraps up, and they have a better idea of who's staying, who's going, and kind of what that roster picture looks like.
As far as player popularity, Keisei Tominaga is maybe one of the most popular we've seen around here in a long time. But then we get to see Josiah Alec for the first time, really the other on Monday night. People love his energy. I love his energy personally. It's a guy that, everybody loves the glue guy. Josiah Alec is going to be, or already is, one of the most, if not the most popular guy on the team. True or false?
True, and he's going to be one of the most popular players for Nebraska fans and probably one of the most despised players for Nebraska opponents.
No doubt.
He plays that way, and Nebraska hasn't had many guys like that, where like not only are they disliked by the other team, but they're doing it because of their play, and they're just that tenacity and physicality and just kind of relentlessness that Josiah plays with. I don't know if he's capable of, or if he does have an off switch with how he plays. Like, I go back to that game on Monday night. Like, there's like 6 minutes left. Nebraska's up by like 35, and Josiah's in there and like he's diving on the floor for a loose ball, like risking his body after already coming back in his first game back off of a tweaked knee. At some point you got to kind of pick and choose when you want to go full out effort play like that, but that's just how he's wired, and that is going to be endearing to Nebraska fans who love that stuff. Like, let's go back through the years of guys that have played with that kind of energy, like Benny Parker and Mike Peltz and those types of guys. Well, Josiah, he's a much better player than those guys, and he's going to be a factor, not only with just his production as a rebounder, as a defender, and even a low post scorer. Oh, and by the way, you saw him shoot threes. He looked pretty good doing that. But just that effort and intensity that he brings is going to be infectious for the rest of the roster, and then fans are really going to gravitate around that.
Upon the full return of Tominaga, what do you think the backcourt rotation looks like? Because there's some guys that are really, vying for some time at either of those two guard spots when you have Coleman and Hoiberg, who led the way the other night, and of course Jamarcus Lawrence there too. And you probably wouldn't throw CJ into that category. I guess I'd categorize him more of a, as kind of a wing. But like, what do you think that rotation looks like in the opening couple weeks here?
Yeah, it's going to be I think an ongoing process here of trying to figure that out, to where they've spent all off season trying to get Jamarcus to be their lead point guard. He looked pretty good in the exhibition game, but he struggled a little bit in that game the other night. Whereas Jerron Coleman looked pretty good. He only scored 5 points, and was 1 of 3 for the field, but just the way in which he controlled the pace on offense. You go back to what made Sam Greasel so good. Obviously, he was so big and physical at that point guard spot, but what he did as well as anything was being able to just, when Nebraska would get set up, and in previous years they would lead to bad turnovers and guys just wouldn't be playing with any sort of controlled tempo, he was the guy that would kind of slow things down and get everybody, set and composed. You saw a little bit of that from Coleman, and it wasn't just slowing things down. His ability to get out and transition and make the right read. You saw why there was so much talk about his vision on the court and his basketball IQ. I think that he's going to be hard to keep off the floor. Again, I think that there's kind of an ongoing evaluation there that they're going to experiment with some different lineups. All of those players are going to get extensive looks, and they're going to play with different combinations in that backcourt to see what really works together. And again, that's why Tominaga playing in these games is so important. They don't need him, but they kind of do in a sense to answer these questions about what your kind of go-to rotation is going to be once the calendar turns to December and the competition level picks up in a significant way.
Hey, do you think we'll find out more today? I know you're on your way over to basketball right now. Fred Hoiberg is going to talk in a couple minutes. Will we learn anything more about the status of Jawan Gary today?
Maybe. Fred's been pretty buttoned up with that. I would anticipate it's probably going to be a few more games. They haven't said why he's suspended outside of a violation of team policies, but we'll see. Like, I think it's going to be one of those game-to-game things, but I don't know if we'll get anything concrete. But if I have to guess right now, I would say he's probably for sure going to be out Thursday, and then maybe another couple games next week before he's back in the fold.
And that's another big piece of your rotation that you're missing right
Absolutely.
now.
Yeah, we're not even talking about a guy that was a projected starter. This like I think you got Tominaga and Gary that like haven't even hardly played, and Mast and Alec just played their first game together. So like they're very much in the infancy stages of working with their core rotation. That you can dismiss the value of these kind of bye games that they're playing right now, but internally and trying to answer some questions within their own team, there's a lot of significance there.
Well, and the good thing about it, I guess, from that side is you really have 3 more games here where you should be okay. Florida A&M, Rider, and Stony Brook before you get Oregon State. And then Duquesne is actually pretty good this year, so that may be a challenge.
Yeah, Duquesne is going to be their first test. Like, Duquesne is a team that will beat Nebraska if they don't come in and have the right mentality. But, like, what is encouraging if you're a Nebraska fan is, in previous years, Nebraska loses those types of games. But, like, you can go back to Monday night. Sam Hoiberg stepped up and found ways to bring energy in every phase of the game. Josiah Alec did the same thing. Rink Mast did the same thing. So they've got guys that understand, when the team's kind of teetering on maybe going to that emotional lull and let inferior opponents stick around and make things uncomfortable. Those types of guys find ways to make winning plays. And so that's probably the difference, from this year and last year as well, that the kind of the makeup of the roster, I think, is far more in place to be able to get through these types of games unscathed, especially compared to the previous years before that.
I agree. Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. Okay, Robin, thank you for pulling the triple duty with us. We appreciate it. We'll let you go. Talk to you later.
Absolutely. See you later.
Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. He's right, though. I mean, that is definitely a true thing. It just, and it's not that they're like this offensive juggernaut or anything, but they're going to go into lulls, right? And it's about, can you make a shot or can you create your own energy, right? Fred Hoiberg, I mean, every coach talks about it all the time. Can you transition and play well on the defensive end when you are not playing well on the offensive end? That's something that I think Nebraska got better at last year. And they have a couple guys this year who are, older and, have some leadership capabilities and qualities. And they'll be like, yeah, we're good. We might be in a lull on offense, but we're going to lock in on defense and we're going to try and get that to create some offense. So I think he's right about that. It's a great quality of this team. And like I said, they should be fine for, these next 3, at least, Florida A&M, Rider, and Stony Brook before the
you better be
the Oregon State game, and then Duquesne the day before Thanksgiving. Watch out for Duquesne.
The Dukes?
Are they the Dukes?
I don't know.
I don't think they are.
That'd be great if they are. They are the Dukes.
They are the Duquesne Dukes. Good job by you, Josh.
Nailed it.
Good job by you. Yeah, I mean, there is a chance that Nebraska goes into the Creighton game undefeated and Creighton goes into the Nebraska game undefeated, if you're already thinking about December 3rd. But who's thinking about December 3rd? No,
it's almost a month away, Connor.
Certainly couldn't be me. That's for sure. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's jump right back into that quarterback conversation. I'll reset the kind of stage. What might Nebraska be looking at? Where's the development of Heinrich Harburg? I appreciate this staff's, and they've been forced to, I think, to a certain extent because they've had to play them, right? But their level of care sort of about the Heinrich Harburg situation. And they certainly don't give off the vibe right now of a staff that is going to just scrap the Heinrich Harburg plan and move on to a stopgap guy or whoever, somebody new that might come in next year. They don't give off that vibe. That's a credit to the staff. They may do it, right? But I want to discuss sort of the talking points of that and just really talk it out with you guys, the possibilities and what might happen over the next 3 weeks. And then really what we're looking at is the next 2 months. Will Nebraska have a new starting quarterback in that period of time? Will they bring in multiple quarterbacks from the transfer portal? Will they lose one? Will they lose two? So there's a lot to dive through, and we'll sift through it. Give us a call, 402-951-1620. What your thoughts on it as well. Back with more next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is always looking to make your game day bigger and better. Cheer on your favorite team this season in front of a 22-foot LED video wall showing up to 8 games at once. TVs are everywhere else you can look with a state-of-the-art audio and video system. Enjoy a big old pizza or award-winning char-buffed wings. There's just no better way to do your game day. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road. And for takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Get a full breakdown after every Nebraska game with Big Red Overreaction. And this week only, hear Big Red Overreaction with Nick Hanley and yours truly, Josh Peterson, on News Talk 1290 Coil. Big Red Overreaction is presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And by Coors Light, keeping Nebraska chill. Also brought to you by J. Stinnett Contracting, Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, and Rotella's Italian Bakery. Immediately after the game, Big Red Overreaction, this week only on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Email us on the Equitable Bank inbox with whatever is on your mind. Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can get me, Gary, at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone Inbox.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here with Dr. Lance Kugler of Kugler Vision. You know, it's been 5.5 years since I had my procedure done at Kugler Vision. I remember going in for the eye analysis and finding out, hey, there's something other than LASIK.
Well, I think it's important to have a full analysis of the eye so that you can make a good recommendation. A lot of the patients that we see have been told over the years, sometimes a long time ago or sometimes more recently, that there isn't an option for them. And I think that's just because they haven't had as in-depth of analysis as they need to know for sure what their options are.
And I think one of the coolest things about that entire process was how comfortable I felt. And I know as I've talked to other people who had procedures done, they said the same thing, whether it was the consultation, whether it was the day of the procedure, all of those questions were answered. And like there was genuine care for me as an individual person.
We all have the same goal. We want you to see as well as you possibly can.
Schedule an eye analysis today, 402-558-2211, or you can visit their website, KuglerVision.com. Welcome back for the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. A couple thoughts from you guys already. We'll continue to sort of unpack this. But Aaron writes in, Adam, I'm sorry. If they do not bring in 2 transfers to go along with Kalen, they're doing a total disservice to the rest of the team. Yes, Daniel Kalen will be here next year. And John wondered on the Equitable Bank inbox, are we 100% certain that Kalen won't be ready to play next season? No one ever mentions him as a possible option. I mean, I think what we're learning as this conversation has really ramped up over the last couple of weeks here is like nobody really knows what their thoughts on it are or what's going to happen. And the problem is you can't really ask about it now because they're trying to win 6 games, right? So
I would question bringing in 2. Like, how do you say, hey, we're going to bring you in to compete?
Well, the other question is, what do they have to, what do they have to sell, right? So like, you could sell Nebraska's defense. They're pretty good. There's not a long track record of developing quarterbacks among the staff. So I'm really curious to see obviously where they go with it. I have some more thoughts on it. Let's get to you on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. It is Sam. Sam, what's up?
Yep. Hey, they gave the keys to the Ferrari to Heinrich, but they didn't give him an engine and a transmission. The problem isn't him. Basically, he's got no offensive line. That's been the problem for the last couple of years. Let's talk about getting some linemen in the porthole and quit worrying about quarterback at this point. Let the kid finish the season, see where we go from there. Develop him, bring him along instead of throwing him to the weeds after 1 year. I mean, we can't keep doing this stuff. We got to get somebody to protect these quarterbacks. Okay?
I love the sports radio call dismount of okay. That's good. I like that from Sam. No, I would like to recognize right here that is a distinct possibility. I think it is. Like I said, it does not. They as a staff do not give off the air of Heinrich Harburg is getting us through this season, and then we're going to bring somebody else in that's better than him that could do better things than him. They do not give off that air whatsoever. Maybe that's just the way they approach players, right? Which is a compliment to them either way. The way they approach players is, hey, look, you're here, and we're going to develop you because we care about you, and it just so happens that he is the starting quarterback right now. And Sam's other points are absolutely true. The rest of the operation around Heinrich Harburg right now is not good, which makes it more difficult to evaluate what the quarterback actually is.
Mm-hmm. And if you've listened to a TV broadcast of a Nebraska game this year, ad nauseum, Heinrich Harburg has not been playing the quarterback position for very long.
No. And like I said, his development from a season ago was stunted by the fact that he wasn't developing a season ago. He was sitting around doing nothing and not being paid attention to by Mark Whipple. We know that, right? Because the coach said it out loud. Like, Heinrich Harburg, what? Ben Roethlisberger. That's what happened last year. So let's play it out, all right? So, regardless of whether you think Harburg's the guy or not, or whether you want him to be the guy or not, they're going to go to the transfer portal, right? They got to bring in somebody else because I don't know what's Jeff Sims' chances of being here next year. Slim to none.
I would
almost none.
I would say Slim has probably left town at this point.
Okay. What are Chubba Purdy's chances of being here next year?
He's 37 years old.
And he hasn't played really a down of meaningful college football yet. I guess sans the Illinois game last year, right? So I don't know. And other than that, it's empty. Here comes Daniel Kalen in from Bellevue West. but they're bringing a guy in the portal. Whether or not Heinrich Harburg is classified as like the starter or the guy that you need to compete with, I don't know. But like I said, so to Sam's point, Nebraska and Matt Rhule need to look and evaluate the position at the end of the season, but also evaluate the rest of the offense in the season. And that will inform what you do at the quarterback position. Do they feel that they are in a position where they can say that they are a quarterback away? Or does that evaluation come later? What kind of quarterback are you going to get in the transfer portal? And what do you do with Heinrich Harburg is a super interesting question to me. So are we talking about a stopgap quarterback this time around? Where, and in my opinion, like, a stopgap quarterback, and I don't mean that as a negative really in this way, is someone that you would bring in for 1 year who has maybe been a starter somewhere else, and maybe you could throw a nice little NIL package at or something, whatever it might be.
Caleb Williams.
And whatever, whoever big name in the transfer portal, right? Stopgap guy. He comes in for 1 year, and that the rest of the operation around him is really, really good or good enough or a lot better. Guys, they're going to go to the transfer portal for running backs and wide receivers too. Trust me. Offensive line, it's going to be slim pickings, but maybe there's an opportunity there as well. They're going to go in the transfer portal and get offensive dudes who can play for them. They did it last year on defense. They're going to do it this year on offense. So, are we talking about a stopgap quarterback that could come in, start, have a successful year at Nebraska, get to the pros? They could sell that on, sell him on that. And is Nebraska in a position where they can sell that this offseason? The evidence that we have right now, we're a month before the transfer portal opens, is no, right? Why? How would you do that at this point? How would you sell? I was listening to the Unsportsmanlike Conduct yesterday, and they were talking about they got an email from a guy who mentioned the Tulane quarterback, Pratt. Right? Like if his, he's going to have suitors, right? If he jumped into the transfer portal and was a grad transfer type of guy. He's going to have suitors from a lot of Power Fives. A lot of Power Fives are going to be looking for quarterbacks, right? But are you in a position where you could be the school who sells themselves the best based on what his suitors are? Because he's going to have a bunch of them, right? Are you going to dive into the pool or the NIL world? And does that fix all your problems? But if that's the case, and you're looking for stopgap quarterback, and you're still recruiting your quarterback of the future, or it's Daniel Kalen, would you rather go out, get, do all the hassle for stopgap quarterback, NIL, sell yourself, like the whole thing, or can the stopgap just be Heinrich Harburg? That's why that conversation is coming up this week. Like, we're trying to define what Heinrich Harburg is, what his role is in the program going forward, and how Nebraska views him, and then how Nebraska views the offense, and then how Nebraska views everything else, right? So look at Heinrich Harburg. Does he fit what they want? Let's just start there. Well, you have to answer the question, what do they want? We're going very deep here, Josh.
Very.
What do they want? I don't know that we have an answer to that. We know they brought in Jeff Sims. We know what their quarterbacks have looked like in the past, and they haven't necessarily had that, dual threat capability to them. But they brought in Jeff Sims this year, and was bringing in Jeff Sims more of a reflection on what they thought they were going to be on the offensive side of the ball? And can they develop in Heinrich Harburg into a guy who is calm, and he doesn't turn the football over, and he makes the correct reads, and he handles all the information correctly, and he makes the right throws? Just from my humble opinion, that seems like a big hill to climb for him. He's played for 6 games at Nebraska now, and I don't know how much progress has been made in that category. But as Rhule said a couple of weeks ago, like, there are these 3 stages as a quarterback. At first, when you come in, you're just playing, and you're just out there, running and gunning, and you're just having fun. And the second stage is, okay, I'm the quarterback, and I got all these other things to think about now. And I think that's the stage he's in right now. He seems to be stuck there at the moment. Can he pull himself out of that stage in the next 3 games? These are huge for Heinrich Haarberg, right? So, I mean, I say all this to say, like, I am certainly entertaining the idea that he could be the guy going forward, but obviously improvements will have to come in the categories that were just mentioned there. He's got to get better, right? They can't live that way. If he continues to be stuck in the purgatory of the processing of the information is happening too fast, and he's too sped up, and he's rushed, and the mechanics aren't there and all that stuff, then like I think you maybe you want to keep him around, but not as the feature guy at the quarterback spot in your program. It's fascinating. There's like I don't know, Josh, like 50, 60 different permutations of how the next 3 games could go, and then what they do at the quarterback spot based how they evaluate the spot, how they evaluate the offense, and then what kind of guys that you go through and who you're looking at when you're looking at the transfer portal guys. And then how does Daniel Kalen factor into all this stuff?
Still a lot of football to play for Heine.
Oh yeah. He can get out of it.
He can win over the fan base again.
No doubt. He absolutely can. And the great news for Heinrich is that he's basically the only guy that, I mean, he's not going anywhere the next 3 games. Like, he's going to have all the opportunities to do so. And I don't want to make it seem like, all right, well, it's kind of like do or die for him, but certainly how he's viewed in the program, yeah, that's the case.
I mean, put the team on his shoulders and win some games. I believe it was Sat yesterday who talked about, let's just go back to running through people's faces.
Right.
Just stop.
Oh yeah, he's super hesitant
about it. Yeah.
Like I would even say, in a few different areas, he's sort of regressed actually since he's taken over as a starting quarterback.
And and I actually credit him for kind of admitting it yesterday.
But the problem is like,
yeah, I'm thinking too much out there.
There's no doubt. But it's all on him. And that's the issue. And so in order to get a real evaluation of a quarterback at Nebraska, you have to put them in a situation, and this is to Sam's point, you have to put them in a situation where everything is not on their shoulder, and they have to make plays. And so Nebraska's got to have a good conventional run game. And what do you got to do to have a good conventional run game? You got to have a good offensive line. You got to hand it off to your running backs. You got to have good running backs when you hand it off to them. I don't know about you guys watching Michigan State. Like, I thought to myself, man, Nathan Carter is pretty good. Michigan State always seems to have a good running back.
Always.
And they have a good they had the good wide receiver who beat Nebraska a lot on Saturday. But just a guy or two like that, and the operation all of a sudden becomes a lot better. So you have to evaluate that, and then you decide what the role of your quarterback is going to be. Just my opinion, the way I look at it with Heinrich is that he is a great option to have on your team when things are like the way they are right now, which is everything's sort of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's going to turn the ball over probably a couple times, I think you can live with that because he can make some plays for you. And I think that was the original intent with Sims. I think they saw that before the season started. They saw, and I don't think they saw it to the extent that it is right now because they lost Garcia Castaneda and they lost Betts and they lost Washington. I think they thought their wide receiver room would be better than it is, obviously, right now because of all those guys that left or got hurt. But I think that was the initial plan with this team. Here's Sims. If everything really goes right with the rest of the offense, then we can maybe turn him into a guy who can control pace and tempo. And, he's sort of like a point guard, and he could distribute the ball to the right people, and then he could pop off a run. And then as the stuff around him continued to deteriorate, as we went on throughout the year or throughout fall camp, it was like, look at what they did that first game, Josh, against Minnesota. How many times did he run the ball in that game? Like 15? Like he just ran it.
Yeah.
They like, so it was obvious from the start, this was what they were going to be this year. This is obviously not a sustainable model.
No.
Going forward. So they're gonna have more of a real offense going forward.
Very clearly. I mean, there's no safety valve. There's no running back who can lighten your load. Like it's
on the quarterback. It's on the quarterback.
Sorry.
So my personal opinion on Heinrich is that he's a good guy to have around in situations like this. And he's a really good curveball changeup, however you want to put it, from what you're trying to actually accomplish on the offense.
19 rushes.
19. I undershot it. He had 19 in that first game, right? That's what they knew that they knew that they were going to have to do that, I think, with Jeff.
That's how many passing attempts he had.
Yeah, right. Zach emails in on the Equitable Bank inbox. And I know I've already seen a bunch of names float out there.
Hi, Zach. Yeah, please. Let's wildly speculate.
Speaking of a quarterback that Nebraska go after next season. Speaking of a quarterback they could go after next season. Sorry, that was the subject line and the body.
Okay.
It sounds like a lot of people think Jalen Daniels will transfer from Kansas after this season. Yeah, I've heard Oregon with that one.
That makes sense, I guess.
But if he puts his name in there, there's going to be 700 people that want him, and they're going to pay a lot of money for him. So is Nebraska in position to sell themselves the best out of all of those schools? In my opinion, no. Like, Jalen Daniels could walk into a school next year and be the starting quarterback and have an opportunity to win a national championship. Right? Nebraska
and that school is Lincoln, Connor. Yes, you're right.
Nebraska, unfortunately, Josh, cannot offer that opportunity.
Says you.
Also, Zach says, MJ Morris was the name that dropped in yesterday, I believe, because
MJ Morris.
Remember MJ Morris? MJ Morris was a one-time Nebraska recruit who ended up picking NC State. He has decided this season, after I think leaving briefly with an injury, and upon his return coming back, he has now said, I will take my red shirt this year. Thank you very much. And that usually signals that you'll be leaving at the end of the year. Another pretty high profile guy, I would say.
Okay.
But there's going to be a lot of options out there, right? But in order for Nebraska to sort of, figure out where they're going to go and what they're going to do, I think, Sam's point, who called it at the beginning of the segment, rings pretty true. Like, they got to figure out what they have and what they are on offense and what they're going to turn it into. But all of this conversation just streams all the way back to the point that I've been making this entire year, which is this season lives in its own little bubble, its own little vacuum.
Yeah.
It lives on its own. That doesn't mean you can't take great things out of this season and players that make strides out of this season. And that doesn't mean Heinrich Harburg can't be one of them. But the operation has to get better. And the operation is everything else around the quarterback. I am like you. I'm sitting in my chair on Saturdays and I'm thinking, I am sick and tired of everything being on the quarterback's shoulders. I'm tired. We're tired of it around here. Give me a guy who could sit back, with a good run game and a couple good wide receivers, and you just kind of fling them the ball and you distribute it to them. And that's the offense that I want to see. I agree. And that doesn't wildly turn the ball over.
This used to be RBU.
Right.
Let's get some big backs in there.
I think that's what they're trying to be.
Yeah.
I think that's what they want to be.
I agree.
But that process has not begun yet.
No.
The process of developing it, has, but the players aren't here yet.
I am very much sit the boys down at the beef table and fatten them up guy. Like, get you some O-linemen.
Sure.
Tell them, here, why don't you eat steaks for the next 6 hours, and we'll come and get you when you're done.
Chad writes in on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed.
What up, Chad?
What up, Chad? Here's what is up from Chad. Every reporter and all you radio guys that keep harping about the quarterback, deep down, you all know that if you don't have a solid offensive line, your quarterback is never going to be comfortable enough to be good as he could be. He is always thinking about getting crucified. Chad, have you listened to the segment literally at all? I just said all of that.
Sprinkled about.
Just said all of that. Over the last 15 minutes, I've said literally all of that. Nebraska has to get the operation right. I am sick and tired of watching everything be on the quarterback's shoulders. I want to get a real evaluation of Heinrich Harburg. And I don't think we've got that because the operation around him isn't very good. I said all that in the last 10 minutes. So I agree with you, Chad. I don't know who these radio people and media guys are, but I think everybody would agree with that.
Great take, Chad.
And that's why we're leaving. That's why people are starting to mention Heinrich Harburg as a possibility for next year for this team. Also, it's, as I also mentioned, it is difficult to you are at the mercy of what is available to you in the transfer portal, right?
Hey, Jalen, you got that bad back. I know you're leaving Kansas. Why don't you come to Nebraska? Who you got to protect my bad back? Oh, no, don't worry about that, Jalen. Don't worry about that.
People don't want to hear this, but like next year, Nebraska's starting over on offense. They're starting over on offense, and you're gonna continue to have young guys out there. There will be more of a foundation laid, but you'll continue to have young guys out there. And it is my personal preference to have a younger quarterback in. So maybe a quarterback who is, Daniel Kaelin can throw his name in the hat for this, or somebody else who has maybe not been a starter around college football, who might want to come back to Nebraska or come to Nebraska, I should say.
Oh, that's interesting.
Come to Nebraska and have an opportunity for playing time and also have the opportunity to be the starting quarterback of the future and learn on the job and play for 2 and 3 years. That's personally what I want. I want to continue to lay that base next year. But maybe they decide, hey, we can get a couple guys in the portal. We can plug this hole with this and that, and let's go really shoot our shot at big-time quarterback A. Maybe they decide that. Or maybe they decide that Heinrich Harburg is your guy that you feel like can learn on the job and be the quarterback for the next 2 years and ultimately takes you to where you want to go. All possibilities, Josh. All possibilities. Let's do the odd news when we return on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Time for your Grum Down. The Trev Troubles, the story that broke yesterday from the Flatwater Free Press.
Freaking bugs.
What? You just murdered it in cold blood. Anywho.
They're crawling everywhere, John. There's another one. The bugs.
Anyway, back to the Grum Down.
Yeah, the Grum Down. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from Canoyer Garden Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Windy and warm for your Wednesday afternoon with the high today in Omaha at 63 degrees. Expect partly cloudy skies to clear as we head into our overnight hours. Still remaining windy early this evening, mild but chillier, a low of 35. Sunshine returns along with breezy winds for your Thursday. A high tomorrow still 57. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
Hey folks, Kent Pavelka again to tell you about your local concrete experts at Everlevel Concrete Repair. Now, if you have cracked, uneven concrete, Everlevel can fix it at a fraction of the cost compared to replacement. This is no Band-Aid. Their products are built to last. It gives your concrete the durable protection it needs, and there's still time. I chose Everlevel for my driveway, and I've got peace of mind with their long-term transferable warranty. Everlevel's products and customer service are top-notch, and that's why they've been voted Best of Omaha again this year. Say it with me. Everlevel, Everlevel, Everlevel.
Jason Peter breaks down the Michigan State game and previews Maryland Thursday at Holy Ghost Church on 52nd and Q. Doors open at 5, program starts at 7, and it's only $10 for adults, $5 for children. Sponsored by Ray Martin Company and Mama's Pizza.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
DJ's Dugout Sports Bar is proud to support Creighton Athletics, and DJ's is the official watch party sports bar of Creighton basketball. Nick Hanley here for my friends at DJ's. Watch Creighton basketball on DJ's huge TV walls at 7 metro locations. Plus, enjoy delicious food and a Blue Jay lemonade cocktail, of course. It's an Omaha tradition. Cheer for the Jays at DJ's. Voted Omaha's #1 sports bar, locally in Vietnam, veteran-owned. Dig in at the Dugout.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Let's take you behind the scenes a little bit. Oh, so this morning, I moseyed over to Josh's office and I said, as I do every morning, we just exchange pleasantries and talk about whatever the news of the day is. We listen to whatever Nick's thing of the day is.
Many would call it a production meeting.
Yeah, it's a faux production meeting basically. And I said, Josh, should we cancel either the odd news or the top 5? And
show's getting a little crowded during football season.
It's getting a little crowded. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
It takes the fire.
We got people to have on the show, and
I get it.
I asked Josh, and I know how taxing it is for Josh sometimes to put these segments together, and we appreciate his hard work. And I thought, Josh, if you had to pick which one would die, which one would you pick? The odd news or the top 5? And Josh has answered. He has responded.
It's a real Sophie's choice for me.
You have heard our open to the odd news. The odd news is alive. The top 5 temporarily is dead.
We're gonna put it on the back burner.
Yeah. We can still deploy it whenever we need to, but I believe as of today, the top 5 is dead.
I feel I would like to just, if we could produce this show over the air, I feel it's a good Monday bit because it does serve as a way to
talk about other things.
Hey, this is a kind of a big game that happened that we do have no room to talk about. Let's jam it in right here.
All right. So it's still alive on Mondays.
Maybe.
Bottom 5.
I could tweet that out.
It's in a state of flux.
Yeah.
Much like Nebraska's offense right now. I don't really know what's going to happen next.
If you're a passionate listener of either of those segments,
you can pine for it.
Like if we picked wrong, like if the audience loves the top 5 and hates the odd news, you should probably let us know that.
Absolutely. Because without your input, we're just making our own decisions unilaterally here.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing.
By the way, the tweet bag, which will not die, it's a once a week deal. That is coming up here in just a couple minutes. We could use your questions at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, or of course in the comments on YouTube or in the Equitable Bank inbox or the text line as well at 951-1620. So pile those up and we'll open it up here in just 1 second. But Josh has the odd news first.
Yes, a lot of media blowhards will say things during a playoff run and then not live up to those things that they say. I'm, of course, alluding to...
Who's that, Josh?
Mad Dog Russo, who said he'd retire if the Diamondbacks made the World Series and then instantly welched on that bet.
They did make the World Series.
Famously. But one radio host in Texas is paying off his World Series promise after the Rangers won the pennant. Bruce Bochy asked his catcher, Austin Hedges, the only thing I need to know right now, Hedgie, what's the number on your butt right now? Only he didn't say butt.
What are we talking about here,
Sparking a
Josh?
celebration and speculation over whether the Rangers were tracking their magic number on Hedges' butt. In response to Bochy's question to Hedges, 97.1 the Freaks. Great name for a radio
Hell
station.
yeah. Is that sports talk?
I think so. Jeff Kavanaugh went on air and declared, if the Rangers win it all, I'll get a tattoo with the number 0 on my butt. Only he didn't say butt.
Uh-huh.
Vowing to get a tattoo on your butt if a team wins a championship is a bold claim.
Pretty regular, though.
Yeah.
Pretty standard stuff.
Well, I don't know if you followed the World Series. The TV ratings tell me not a lot of you did, so I will inform you that the Texas Rangers won the World Series.
Exciting.
And yesterday, Jeff Kavanaugh got the number 0 tattooed on his butt.
So what? Okay, I want to go back to the original story here.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean that they were keeping track on Austin Hedges' butt?
I don't have a lot of details on that.
Are we talking about a marker?
I'm guessing he had a marker with the number every day on his butt.
And he pulled down his pants and wrote a different number on there every day. And then they probably slapped his butt.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Man, guys being dudes.
Yeah.
What a time.
What a locker room. What a clubhouse.
Yeah. Building camaraderie.
Are you gonna, if the Huskers make a bowl game,
I will not
get anything tattooed on anywhere on your body?
I will not be. I will be just happy to be there.
Okay.
I'm not going to offer. People love to do this in our industry, Josh. They just offer things that only have bad consequences. There's no good part of it. It's very odd.
You don't want to get the Las Vegas Bowl logo tattooed as like a tramp stamp or something?
I'm just saying, like, if you were, I guess in a lot of cases, we're using the tattoo as a punishment, the punishment tattoo, right? If they lose,
Fantasy
then I will get a
football
tattoo.
Loser.
Exactly.
How many of those have we done?
Now, in this case, it's the opposite. But nobody ever asks, okay, what happens if I win fantasy football?
Are you all going to get the tattoo?
Right. So people are just bad at bets, I think. And I don't think this is any different.
Okay, that might be fair.
Also, we are definitely changing in this world where getting tattoos is now a good thing. It's what happens when you win.
Excellent observation.
Very, very interesting times. I will not be tattooing anything on my body. Probably ever.
Wow.
Never say never, but it's probably never.
Okay. Connor, when you were a kid, did you ever huddle around in your friends group and say, hey, you know what? I bet you we could live in this Target. I bet you we could live in this mall if we just crouch down on a shelf after close. And
I have thought that, but I've never actually applied that.
Well, a man in Shanghai did it.
Many people do this on TikTok all the time, Josh.
Oh, really?
Oh, the children are doing this all the time on TikTok.
Well, I don't know if this Shanghai man recorded it or what happened, but he lived in the mall for 6 months.
6 months?
Yes.
Okay.
He had a tent under the stairs, which apparently eluded security guards. Doesn't sound like a very secure mall, if I'm being honest with everyone.
No. Well, people just do their jobs and then they go home, you know?
According to a semi-viral clip blowing up on Twitter, where viral videos go to thrive, the unidentified man had, that's a word I'm not familiar with. Dave?
Surreptitiously?
Yeah. Dave, what's that word mean? He stowed a tent, table, computer, and chair under the staircase at the mall, and he would periodically pop out to charge his devices using the shopping center's outlets, evoking something out of, and this is why I pulled the story, and I'm doing it here for you all today, Tom Hanks' long-term airport layover in The Terminal.
The Terminal. The Terminal got a mention. I thought we were going down the path of Employee of the Month, which is another great movie starring Dane Cook and Dak Shepard.
There are no great movies starring Dane Cook.
And Jessica Simpson.
Well,
that is a good movie because you know what they do in that movie? They build their little clubhouse up behind the teepees in the top, and they take the little forklift up there, and they go hang out.
Did Dane Cook date any minors in this movie?
No, just Jessica Simpson.
Oh, okay.
He only had eyes for Jessica Simpson.
Okay, good for him. A security guard allegedly discovered the unauthorized tenant months ago, but allowed him to extend his stay after he claimed that he just needed a place to study.
I love the movie The Terminal. Thank you for talking about it, Josh. Everyone should watch it. It's great. It's Tom Hanks from a fake country, and he gets stuck at JFK for a very long period of time. And guess what? Guess what he does? He just figures it out. He starts eating. And the whole Stanley Tucci, who runs the airport,
the Tooch,
he's against him. So at every moment, he tries to stop getting him to live in the airport. He wants him to go away. He wants him to go outside. And so he comes up with this scheme to, put the carts back, and he collects the quarters, and then he buys a bunch of Whoppers, and then they take the quarters away. They take the carts away. And so he's living on ketchup and mustard packets and crackers for a long time. But then he starts to, collect this network of friends that he has. He's got a person in the bag section. He's got the janitor. Do you have an appointment? That guy, and so he's starting to collect all of these friends around the office or around the airport. And eventually it turns out he's a very skilled construction worker.
Oh. A tradesman.
Yeah, so they're working on a new gate down in the corner of the airport, and he picks up a job, and he does incredible work, and to the point where they don't even need the rest of the crew, and they just pay Tom Hanks a whole bunch of money to fix the airport. And then eventually his country is no longer, unrecognized by the United States of America, so he can go home. But he actually goes to New York instead. He says, I go New York. That's The Terminal.
That's 2004's The Terminal, starring Tom Hanks, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Stanley
Jones part,
and Paramount Plus.
In this movie, so it doesn't go anywhere.
Shanghai, a second cop who wasn't as nice, found him and said, hey, you got to get the hell out of here.
I don't care about that story. Thank you for the excuse to talk about The Terminal, Josh. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I respect the bit. Finally, in I believe this is in Australia. Yeah.
I go New York.
Queensland, to be exact.
I go home.
The Project star. Now, I don't know what the project is. It sounds like a television project of some kind. Sarah Harris took a moment to apologize to Channel 10 bosses during Tuesday night's episode of The Panel Show. Sounds like the project might be a panel show that airs on television.
Thank you.
Harris speaking about Crocs with co-star Waleed Ali, Tom Cashman, and Kate Langbrook.
Known people for sure.
When she made an X-rated confession. The panel were discussing news that Queensland's male crocodiles are being driven into a mating frenzy by the sound and vibrations of Chinook helicopters flying overhead. She said, and I quote, "That's right. Helicopters are making the Crocs horny. No easy way to say that."
It's a weird show.
A very weird show.
It's kind of like our show.
Her co-stars then questioned how experts can even tell when Crocs are aroused. And it sparked a bit of a confession from Sarah Harris, who admitted she'd had
she gets horny when the helicopters go over?
No. She admitted she had done her own research on the topic, so to speak.
As you do. How do gators get horny?
Yeah. She'd been doing a bit of a deep dive. She laughed. She then broke the fourth wall, looked directly into the camera, and apologized to her bosses at Channel 10 for the unsavory searches on her work phone this afternoon.
What did she find?
She found that the helicopters and the vibrations that they cause are causing the
vibrations.
The vibrations. Imagine when a helicopter went over you and you heard a male human sex noise, is what she said. I can't imagine that would do it for anybody, but
Yikes.
They think the thudding of the helicopter
That I believe
is a female tail hitting the ground.
Oh.
Like, hey, big boy, you ready?
Yeah. All right. Shout out to the Gators getting it on. If you ever want to see more Gators, just fly a chopper over. Fly a chopper over a swamp. A few months later, you have some more Gators in the pond. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is the odd news. I appreciate my opportunity to talk about the terminal. A couple comments on the YouTube. Walter says, I'd watch paint dry before I'd watch the terminal. Horrible take.
Oh, Tom Hanks.
How about open your mind a little bit, Walter? And we have Star Wars Fiend agreeing with me that Employee of the Month is a good movie. Connor, this is an 81 Honda. How dare you? That's a Dex Shepard line.
Taylor tweeted in 11 minutes ago, make it a poll question, no brainer, but I have no context.
It's about our murdering of the top 5.
Oh, okay.
Should we kill the top 5 in a poll question?
I mean, what a way to go. Am I right?
Yeah, but then we're attached to it.
Yeah.
Then we have to actually kill it if it says yes. We want to keep it around, but we don't really want to kill it.
We
just want to Heinrich Harburg it.
We want to use it as
to
a
the
crutch.
side. Right, exactly. Deploy when necessary.
Yeah.
It's like a flare, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if I got a little something for somebody.
All right. Get your tweet bag questions in because it's coming up on the other side. We need some more at Happer Show, at Connor Happer, and on the YouTube comments or on the text line at 402-951-1620. Back with the Wednesday tradition that will never die, the tweet bag on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter at Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys? 1620 The Zone's 4-quarter pick'em returns. It's your chance to win $1,620. All you have to do is correctly pick 4 college or NFL games against the spread. Listen to qualify every weekday or enter online at 1620thezone.com. One lucky listener will be selected each week to make their picks live on air.
Awesome.
Go to 1620thezone.com for complete rules and contest details. It's 4-quarter pick'em with 1620 The Zone.
Start your engines.
Joe's Indoor Karting in Council Bluffs is off the charts crazy. Joe's Karting is fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing action at over 40 miles per hour. The only speed restriction on these karts is how good you are. Joe's Karting is located just a couple of blocks north of Bass Pro Shop and directly east of AMC Theater in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Go watch a movie. Come race at Joe's. Planning a bachelor party, graduation party, or just a night out with friends? Go to Joe's. Remember, Joe's Karting is your place to race.
Better yet, why not just come to 40 and even come close to the wide variety and premium disposable e-juice, CBD, Delta, Kratom, glass pipes, vaporizers, and other great products. With the friendliest, most knowledgeable, and professional staff who will find the right products just for you. If you're looking for a one-stop shopping experience, look no further. 42 Degrees. By your mom's house.
Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up AutoSave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AutoSave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is 2 $25 vouchers for just $25 to 72 Table and Tap. Try one of the 20 beers on tap or any of the 150 whiskeys. They also serve salads, tasty bar food, flatbreads, pizzas, sandwiches, and desserts. 72 Table and Tap. Eat, drink, gather, and repeat.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
This is the Tweet Bag. You send your questions in and we answer them. Like no other radio segment ever. It's the Tweet Bag on the Connor Happer Show.
It's time for the tweet bag. It is Wednesday. It's just a little afternoon. Sorry. A couple minutes late. I know you guys are marking your calendars and setting your alarms for noon on Wednesday so you can ask your tweet bag questions. We appreciate it.
Connor had to go through the plot of the Terminal.
I did. It was really important to me. And that does maybe bring us to our first tweet bag question today, Josh.
Sure, please.
So, by the way, Charles said, more Connor spoils 20-year-old movie radio.
Yeah.
If you want that to be a bit, I am happy to.
The movie has to be 20 years old or older.
A quick 60-second synopsis of the entire movie. And it's really, I really didn't tell you anything about the movie. I just told you about 7 things that happened during the movie. We could do that.
I am for this.
But, it kind of brings to our first question, which is from Mike. Since Connor's known for killing podcasts he's been a part of.
This is true.
I don't know who said that. I didn't know I was known for that. Is there a podcast idea that he would willing to not only start, but actually commit to long term? Well, I do like the idea of me spoiling 20-year-old movies as a podcast.
Just a little like a little micro podcast where we set it up for like 3 or 4 minutes. Connor gives us like 60 to 90 seconds on the movie, and then we recap.
Yeah, it's really a time thing.
Yeah, like a 10-minute podcast.
It's really a time thing. Producer Josh's film school died because of the 2022 College World Series. The 2022 College World Series ended many months ago.
Famously.
And the podcast has still not come back at this point. I'm trying to think about the right situation that would get me back in for consistently doing podcasts. I was paid for it. I do a podcast every week.
People forget. What's that podcast called?
It's called the 1620 The Jays Pod. And guess what? I'm not killing that podcast. Why would I?
Can I get that wherever I find my podcast?
You can get that wherever you find it, or you can find it at 1620thezone.com.
Wow.
It's all there. It's tweeted out every Friday morning at 1620 The Jays on Twitter.
Who was on last week? Like, it's got to be a bunch of...
Last week, Greg McDermott was on it.
Oh my gosh. What an illustrious guest.
This week, it'll be Creighton Hall of Fame soccer player Fabian Herbers.
Hall of Famer?
Correct. Will be inducted this Friday. Maybe Kirsten Bernthal Booth. And
KBB?
Yes, maybe. We're figuring that out at this point. And Ryan Montera. Guess who interviewed Ryan Montera, the cross-country guy?
Oh, that had to be you.
Incorrect.
Oh,
it's Josh Peterson.
What? Really?
The guy who talks about running all the time.
Do you think Josh was like, really? 2 miles?
That
was your race this weekend?
Yeah, seriously. This is pretty
rookie numbers.
Rookie numbers. You gotta bump those babies up. Yeah. So I don't know. I can't commit to it on the spot, but it's possible that I would commit to a podcast long term.
If it paid.
Money talks, baby.
Okay.
Money talks. Next. You do this.
Oh yeah, this is me, isn't it? All right, we have more on the YouTube.
Plenty on the YouTube. I got a few on the text line here.
Our friend Star Wars Fiend.
Hi, Star Wars Fiend.
SWF if you're a cool kid. Connor, you're in charge of Nebraska's NIL package, and Amigos is out. What are you replacing Amigos with, and what is the gimmick name with it?
What do you mean? What is this question? I'm in charge of the NIL package, and Amigos is out.
Amigos is out.
So
We know you're in the bag for Amigos.
I just have to pick a company?
Yeah. I mean, there are several companies that do endorsement deals with Nebraska athletes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Amigos.
Although, I will say this, if we've been doing NIL this long at the University of Nebraska and Amigos is the most high profile one.
I mean, they're not,
what are we doing?
right?
What are we doing here?
They're not. Well,
aren't they? Remember when all those people signed at Runza?
Runza's done some.
But what have they done? They've just signed all NIL is just signing the kids. They don't have to do anything, even though I think legally they have to do something.
Maybe you just don't see it, Josh. Maybe it's not on your social media feeds.
Entirely possible.
Maybe it's not just on social media. Maybe it's being a brand ambassador. Maybe it would actually take walking into a Runza and seeing a cardboard cutout of somebody who's representing Runza.
I've walked into many a Runza. My son loves the Green Restaurant because their mascot is a dinosaur.
Yes. Yep.
Ain't a Runza in this town I haven't sat down in and had one of those free ice cream cones.
So you're telling me nobody's like it? We like Omaha Steaks hasn't done an NIL deal? Like Mutual of Omaha hasn't done an NIL deal?
I'm sure they have, but they haven't had
even
the Jeff Sims meal.
Like if I'm a big company like that, I'm just grabbing a couple local athletes and I'm doing a stupid bit on Twitter and that's the money.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. It's just engagement. That's all. Just put the people out there and they could be representative of your brands if you want them to. But it's tough to get college athletes to like, hey, I'm here for insurance. Right? Mm-hmm. I've had many options in terms of insurance, and I could tell you that this one's the best. It doesn't really ring.
I mean, the Polar Bear's got a good commercial.
The Polar Bear's got the heating and air.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Sorry, I forget the name of the company. But yes.
I don't think they advertise with us, so
I
it's
don't.
okay.
Okay. All right. Cool. What would I do? What would I pick? This question doesn't make sense to me, Josh.
Why is 1620 the zone not in giving money to Creighton athletes?
We could
to be on this radio station
all the time. We can get them on. They will come on their own volition. Sometimes.
Why is Baylor Shireman not the co-host of the Connor Happer show?
Do you think Baylor Shireman? Actually, he'd be pretty good.
Who's got takes? Who's got takes on that team?
Yeah, Baylor's got takes. Baylor's got takes for sure.
Let's do a bit where we see from what part of that gigantic Creighton logo Ashworth can hit a three from.
There you go.
Because last night he was getting really close to that logo.
Connor Happer versus Steven Splashworth in a 3-point contest.
My money's on Splashworth.
I don't know. He was only a 45% 3-point shooter last year. Once again, rookie numbers. Okay, next.
Walter, can Connor spoil movies from 30 to 40 years ago? I've never seen Titanic.
Oh, I would love to do Titanic. You want me to do Titanic right now?
Please do.
So you got this guy, and he's like,
poor.
He's kind of poor. He's down on his luck. He's playing a game, and he's like, let's go. I want a ticket to the Titanic. He goes to the Titanic. And then there's this other lady, and she's super rich, and she's living in first class, and, she doesn't have a sense of what's going on around her or anything like that. And they meet up together. And then he saves her life. But then the one guy, Billy Zane, thinks that, he's encroaching on the territory. And that guy's a real jerk.
Sure.
Billy Zane's a real jerk. And then yada, yada, yada. They fall in love. Poor guy and the girl fall in love. Rose, Jack. They fall in love. He paints her. He draws her on a piece of paper. It's not even that good of a drawing. She's just naked. That's the draw to the entire part. Then they have sex in a car. And then the surprise, The boat hits an iceberg.
What? Connor.
It's amazing. It's really quite the twist.
Well, surely everything works out in this great love story.
Well, they called it the unsinkable ship, and they really tested that theory because it hit an iceberg, and then it did in fact start to sink very quickly. And then, Rose, the young woman who's very rich, she had to choose. Was I going to go with douche Billy Zane, or was I going to go with poor Jack who loves me? And the answer is poor Jack who loves me. And you really find out who people are while a ship is sinking and your lives are on the line,
Did the band stop playing?
No, the
and
band never
evacuate?
stopped playing. That was the next thing I was going to mention. They were playing their strings all the way through. The boat went straight up into the air, and then it broke in half.
Oh no!
And then it sunk, and it suctioned, all the way in. It sunk them right in. And there were some people who got off on lifeboats. Some people were not so fortunate. Jack was handcuffed to a thing underneath the water, and Rose had to axe him out, and they did get off the boat as the boat sunk. Unfortunately, it was very cold in the water, and
If there's icebergs in the water, yeah, I'd imagine.
And Jack froze to death, and he died. He floated away. His body floated away, and Rose lived to be 190 years old and told the story of it later to what's his name? What's the guy's name? The
guy who died.
Yeah, the guy who died, Bill Paxton.
Yeah,
he went on and told her story to Bill Paxton, and then she actually had the ruby the entire time. Oh yeah, there was a ruby.
It's not really important in the movie at all.
No,
actually,
not at all. Okay, yep. That was more of like a 25-year ago thing.
Yeah,
but I could do it whenever you want to. Sure.
Taco Sean tweets in.
Hi, Taco Sean.
If you could be eyewitness to and get indisputable video picture of the following, which would it be? Loch Ness Monster, aliens, ghosts, or Bigfoot?
Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, interesting. Why?
We don't have any sort of definitive proof that this exists, right? Aliens, I mean, do we even care if aliens are out there? Do we have an understanding of how gigantic the universe is, and then the other universes and things that are going on? Who actually cares that there's aliens out there? There's my hot take of the day. Does it actually matter that aliens are out there? Because there's just frankly so much space in our world, in our being.
They do seem to not want to kill us, and that's the only thing.
It doesn't matter.
That's the only reason it would matter.
They're fine. I don't need to see that they exist or not. What's the big deal? So, Josh, fast forward. We in 30 years find out aliens do in fact exist, and they are exactly like we thought they were. They're these green guys who are kind of wobbly, and they say bloop bloop bloop. We find out everything is true. Then what happens? Nothing at all. Nothing. We live in separate worlds. We live in separate universes. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loch Ness Monster. The picture would go viral.
And you would definitely get photo courtesy Connor Happer.
People would actually credit me? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, unlike your Heinrich Harburg photo.
Yep, unlike my Heinrich Harburg photo, which they showed in the FS1 broadcast. Did you see this?
No.
So we never talked about this. It was the I don't know which game it was, but all of a sudden I started getting tweets at me. They were like, that was Connor's picture on the FS1 broadcast that they did not credit him for. They just put it up there.
Oh,
no credit. Along with the many Facebook fan pages that I didn't get credit from either, but that was, I guess, to be expected. And of course, the nickname Steven Splashworth, which I created last night.
I've got some more here.
Poll question from Steve. Do we care if aliens are here?
I put up a poll question at Happer Show. Does it even matter if aliens exist?
That's perfect. That's even better, actually. Great. I got a bunch of texts here if you want to go there.
Give me a text, and I got a couple of emails to finish this off.
Better NBA point guard to not win a championship, and why? Allen Iverson or Steve Nash?
Oh wow, that's a tweet bag question. Wow. Allen Iverson was cooler. Nash was a 2-time MVP. Kind of revolutionized NBA offenses. AI was
Give me
cool.
AI. He could score it.
He was cooler.
This is from Pedro.
Hi, Pedro.
Hey, guys. Connor and Josh, do you prefer to go to a bar that is so popular it's hard to find a table or talk to anybody without yelling, or a bar that is easy to find a table and you can have a simple conversation without screaming? Your secret bar nobody knows about. Thanks, Pedro.
Secret bar. I don't even think twice about
it. Not even a conversation. Triggered Bob says Employee of the Month is objectively a bad movie.
Great take, Bob.
But 2006 Jessica Simpson is a nice addition.
That's my thoughts.
Question from the 712 says, question for you.
Love that guy.
I subscribed to Peacock 20 minutes before being given tickets to the game. Does Peacock allow recording, or are games on the app to watch later? Thanks.
They're on the app to watch later.
They're on the app to watch later. Question for you, which I appreciate.
I hear there's a new Greg Wagner floating around.
Yeah, we're going to get something new coming up soon. Oh, should we take this phone call about Titanic?
Yeah, I have no idea what it's about.
All right, great. Hi, Drew. What's up? Drew.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's good.
I just want to tell you that Titanic, I caught the end of that.
Yeah, what happened?
There was a gentleman from Nebraska that was on the Titanic.
Like in real life or in the movie?
Huh? In the real life.
Oh.
And he survived by riding at it out on a door.
Wow. So he was like the alternate ending of Jack Dawson.
Yeah, and this guy was Johnson, and they called him Titanic Johnson from Wahoo, Nebraska.
Oh my God.
And he was a
What a
carpenter,
nickname.
and he went through war. Yeah, he said it was never, the war that he fought in before was never as dramatic as the Titanic.
Titanic Carl Johnson.
Yep.
He's got a wiki page and everything.
Thank you for
It's
this bit of
amazing.
information, Drew. I appreciate this.
I think it needs to be told. Go Nebraska.
Go Nebraska. That's the takeaway. GBR.
Coast Guard finds him floating on a door. GBR.
GBR.
If I die, make sure everyone calls me Titanic Johnson.
E writes in.
What
Poll
up,
question. Do aliens go whoop, whoop, whoop? I think that's what we think they do, right? That's what we think they do. I'm just saying. What if all of that stuff was confirmed? That's my question to all you guys. Then what happens? Nothing. Nothing happens. Nothing at all. I think we have some more via the oh yeah, here's from Chris on the Equal Bank inbox. If you'd only watch sports for 1 month in the year, which month would you watch sports? That is from Christopher. It's got to be October, right? October or November. You got college football, you got NFL football, you got the World Series, or Major League Baseball playoffs. Like everything that you love is either basically started or is finishing or is in the middle. It's happening. It's like best sports month of the year, Josh. If you could only pick, this is the question from Chris. If you could pick 1 month to watch sports out of the year, 1 month.
October.
Yeah, I think so. That'd be my answer as well. What was that? What was that phone call about?
There is some dispute to where Titanic Johnson may or not be from.
Not from Wahoo?
There's just some people from Wahoo are saying, I've never heard of this guy. How is that possible?
He's here. He's on the internet.
He's on the Nebraska.gov.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Hey, why would the government lie to you?
Carl Johnson lived to tell his story. He was 21 years old. He was an immigrant traveling to the United States. So he's not Nebraskan.
His plan to escape the draft happening in Sweden by traveling to Wahoo, where his brother lived.
There you go. His
He
family,
settled down in Wahoo until World War I.
as most did, I would think at the time.
Carl Johnson and his brother worked at the Havelock shop as carpenters.
At around midnight on April 15th, the ship hit the iceberg, but no one felt the crash. Passengers were at, let's see. Whoa. This is all messed up. Severity of the accident went unnoticed to Johnson until he saw crew members shooting rockets into the air, followed by ear-piercing screams from the people trapped at the stern where the iceberg had hit. By that time, the ship had started to sink. The last thing Johnson remembers before going into the icy water was watching a giant piano slide off the side of the ship. Then he threw himself into the freezing water. He believed the only reason he survived was because he knew how to swim well.
Oh, it's a life skill, kids.
Unlike Jack.
Yeah.
This is like the good version of Jack. Hop on that door. Titanic Johnson is an incredible name, though.
Poll questions up at Happer Show. Do aliens say whoop, whoop, whoop? And is there a better nickname than Titanic Johnson?
Jack John writes in, poll question, should we rename Memorial Stadium to Titanic Johnson Memorial Stadium?
You put that petition in front of me, I sign it every time. I'll tell you that much.
Trenton asks, my 7-year-old son has been obsessed with the Titanic lately. Do I have to tell him about Titanic Johnson now? Titanic, just think about Titanic Johnson and what a name that is.
Maybe when he's 13.
Some people are wondering if that was a safe thing to Google. I typed in Titanic Johnson Wahoo.
Yeah. But
that might not help in your mind, but it does help according to the internet, which is great. All right, so we've learned a lot today. Is there anything else, loose ends, that we need to tie up, Josh?
I mean, Tanner asked if you could be a backup singer for any band. What would you pick?
Are we basing this on my skills, or are we basing this on like which would be the coolest to be in?
Let's do both.
Like I'd like to be around Billy Joel all the time. You know, I could be one of Billy Joel's backup singers. Billy Joel's not even good at singing.
He's not. People forget.
People get mad at me when I say this, Josh. Thank you for agreeing with me. I want to say this. I love Billy Joel. He's probably my favorite artist of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He's not good at singing.
Kurt Cobain, terrible singer.
Right. We once again, we got to understand nuance a little bit here. That's all. So I think I would do fine there. You know, I wouldn't drag him down. And then what would just be, well, I guess that would both to be cool and it's functional. Yeah, Billy Joel.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one for both. And Mike emails in.
Hey, Mike.
If you and Connor were a 70s buddy cop team, what car would you guys drive, and would you have a catchphrase?
Definitely have a catchphrase. I don't know anything about cars. Just whatever the version of
the biggest, widest police car possible, like a boat. Like,
no, dude, we would have whatever the 70s equivalent of what they drive in the other guys, the Prius. What's the 70s equivalent of a Prius?
Excellent question.
Somebody out there knows the answer to that question.
Car guys.
Yeah, car guys. What is the 1970s version of a Prius?
Most fuel efficient
we
car.
We would just put a little light on top of it.
75.
You know, and we'd be playing Little River Band.
Hey, did you know the Honda Civic was around in 1975?
Perfect. We drive a Honda Civic. Excellent.
Honda? Why ain't you buy an American? That's what they tell us.
Brian writes in, you have to choose. You got to choose November as the only month to watch sports, or you're screwed on Thanksgiving. I mean, honestly, I like sports being on Thanksgiving, but I'm also sleeping the majority of the time when I'm not eating. So that wouldn't make a big difference.
I can sleep and watch Home Alone.
Yeah. Texter asked, what about March in that scenario? That's probably a good suggestion. March seems cool.
College basketball is fun.
I wouldn't want to miss the NCAA tournament, that's for sure. But you would miss the national championship because that's in April. Not that I care that much.
Oh, yeah, that's right. People forget.
All right. I stick with my original thought. It's October. Also, a texter says the most fuel efficient car in the 70s, or the equivalent of a Prius in the 70s, is the Ford Pinto.
Oh.
Which I think I would agree with.
I love that for us.
Thank you for participating today. That was fun.
Yeah.
Back with more next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the roofery.
When it's time to replace or repair storm damage, make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the local, trusted, and proven choice. No one has installed more Da Vinci roofs, and there's a reason why John Higgins Weather Guard is the nation's leader. Community member, community supporter. Make the right call.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the rooferys. Make the right call.
Here's Here's today's Husker Max Practice Report, brought to you by Tickets for Less on 1180 and 1620 The Zone.
Nebraska football's defensive backs will be put to the test this week as they welcome the pass-heavy Maryland Terrapins and star quarterback Talia Tagovailoa. Defensive coordinator Tony White has not been happy with some of the explosive plays through the air the Blackshirts have given up.
You can accept the ball beating you. You know what I mean? If the guy ran the right route, the ball was in the 100% correct spot, and the defender's in the right spot, and they go up, and it's a sideline, tippy-toe, instant replay. You can live with that, man. That's ball. You know what I mean? But when we bust assignments, or we don't know what to do, or our eyes are in the wrong spot, or we don't have the technique, that's bull crap. Let's get that straight. That's bull crap. I mean, and that starts with coaching, in terms of being able to get those guys to say, hey, this is how we do it. And then if the guy's not going to do it, then he shouldn't be in the game, right?
For The Zone, I'm Matt McMaster.
The Husker Max Practice Report, brought to you by Tickets for Less on 1180 and 1620 The Zone.
Attention all you Husker football fans. This season, get ready to cheer on your Huskers like never before. Tickets for Less is offering an exclusive deal that'll have you jumping out of your seat. Use the promo code THEZONE and save big on Husker tickets for every game, home and away. From the electrifying home opener to intense conference matchups, Tickets for Less has you covered. Don't miss a single moment of the gridiron action. Visit ticketsforless.com today. Use promo code THEZONE and secure your seat to witness the Huskers live on the field this season. Hurry, this offer won't last forever.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
This year, Staples will not be celebrating the holidays. Instead, we're celebrating the holiday deals with amazing savings for the holiday season. Save 50% on custom holiday cards, save 50% on custom invitations, and save 50% on custom photo gifts like mugs and calendars. During Staples holiday deals, it's not about the ho, ho, ho. It's about saving dough, dough, dough. Save 50% on custom cards, invitations, and photo gifts today at Staples. Ends 12/16. Visit staples.com/print for more details.
This week at Target, you'll find different early Black Friday deals. Get fun deals on the latest tech, toys, and video games, plus smart deals on small appliances, floor care, and so much more. At Target, you'll discover different early Black Friday deals each week. And get what you need for the holidays fast with free drive-up or score free shipping when you spend $35 or use your red card at Target.com. Get low prices and early Black Friday deals only at Target. Exclusions apply.
Love like this before.
Hey, so now you know. So because of this show, you know what aliens say. What do aliens? So if we ever ask the question, what do aliens say? The automatic knee-jerk responses. Boop, bloop, bloop, bloop. Which is really dumb, but fits this very, very well.
Most educational show on 1620 The Zone. Right here.
Text in from the 402. I think you killed the odd news when you turned it into crappy movie review hour. There's varying opinions on Connor Happer's crappy movie review. Also, I would vouch for the Titanic as not a crappy movie.
Right.
Also the Terminal, but that's, I know how people feel about it. I get it.
I'm not going to turn down a movie review segment from Connor Happer.
That's why I'm saying we should do Connor's film school. And Josh has got all these serious takes about the movie, and I'm like, yeah, remember when this happened? That's basically what the last podcast was. All right, a couple quick takeaways from Creighton last night. Some might say that there's no takeaway from beating Florida A&M by 51.
Correct takeaway.
On a Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, unnecessarily at 8 o'clock. Thanks, Kevin Kugler. But I would say you're wrong, because I have takeaways.
Oh.
Takeaway number one. I know it's going to be hot. It's going to be fire. I think this team is not only capable of shooting, I think it's good at it, right? So the last 2 years with this kind of core, it was, I think they're capable of shooting. You know, they can have a good offense and they can shoot the three ball well, but is it consistent enough? I think with this group, not only capable, but straight up good at it. And here's what it means for their team. So you saw it on display last night. And I'm going to trigger some people here in a second. So when you do the thing where what Florida A&M did last night, when you try and just like surround Ryan Kalkbrenner with everybody on your team and, you know, make him pass or just not allow Kalkbrenner to get it going, it does close off a lot of what Creighton is doing on offense, a lot of their, you know, their spacing and their ability to sort of work the offense through him a little bit. He's turned himself into a halfway decent passer at this point. Obviously, he's huge under there. But when you take away that scoring threat, like it does change the dynamic of Creighton's offense a little bit. But when you do that, in the past, you're running the risk of Creighton shooting the three ball well, and you take your chances. You roll the dice. This year, it's a bad gamble. It's a bad gamble. So I'm looking at, I know we're just going to keep hyping this up, but I'm looking at you, team in red down the road. If you try and do the same thing this year to Kalkbrenner, it ain't gonna. I mean, you might shut down Kalkbrenner successfully, but you're not going to get away with. Would Creighton make like 3 threes in that game last year? They're not going to have a bad shooting night like that because they'll just keep jacking them up. They'll shoot 50 threes and they'll make 20 of them. You know, and it doesn't. You know, it doesn't matter at that point. This is a very good shooting team. It's obviously led by Ashworth, aka Steven Splashworth, who shot 45% from three.
Great nickname by you.
And shot 5 of 7 on opening night. And they were splashes too. So like Max said it last night, you have to pick your poison kind of against Creighton. And so they're back a little bit into the category of, I don't know about let it fly or whatever, but like they can shoot the three and they'll be able to shoot the three. Trey's a way improved shooter. Remember how Trey Alexander had the kind of hitch in his jumper? That ain't there anymore. Trey Alexander is a well-rounded basketball player right now. He is one of the best players in the country. Creighton has 2 of the best 10 or 15 players in the country on their roster, in Kalkbrenner and Trey. And Kalkbrenner is so important to what they do, and Trey just, Trey's really, really stepped up. The jump is there. He has improved everything about his game, and I love the idea of him handling the ball a little bit and Ashworth off the ball. Trey's a good enough decision maker and passer now to make plays for other people. He'll get surrounded on defense because he's such a capable scorer, and he's a 3-level scorer. He can get to the rim. He had the huge dunk last night. He could do those little post fadeaway as he did last night, and he could shoot the 3 ball as he did last night. He is really, really good. So they got a couple guys in their team who are incredible, and the 4th spot will be a thing that we'll be watching all year. But keep in mind they got 2 of the best 15 players in the country on their roster. I'm interested in how much they want to push pace and how much that'll change on a game-to-game basis. I think they can win in a lot of different ways, but they can go high. They can go high octane if they want to.
So
and I think they're probably a little bit better at high octane at this point, which I would not have said about last year's team.
Yeah,
I wanted to say about last year's team, but I would not say about last year's team. There's positives and there's negatives. There's good takeaways and there's bad takeaways from being able to push pace the way that Creighton's going to be able to. It'll hurt your defense a little bit, but I do think they still got the big guy in the middle who they can funnel everything into. Like whenever you get to like, this could be a thing for them, you get stopped. Like there's like a roadblock before going too far down that road. They got a lot of boxes checked. So yes, there's my takeaway. They're good.
I have one takeaway.
Okay.
Nick Baugh is really good on TV.
Agreed. What about Kevin Kugler?
Oh, no, I thought that went without saying, but I guess Nick does work here. So Kevin Kugler, very good at his job as well.
Yes.
Nick Baugh, excellent.
They're proud alums of 1620 The Zone. They're seriously
That's not even why I say it.
No, I know. They're seriously really, really good for anywhere. They'd be great even if they weren't from here.
He can tell me what's
watch,
happening.
Watch Nick do a game like between Xavier and like Presbyterian.
Yeah.
Like it's really good.
And his job, there's less time, but he still gets in there and makes it understandable to somebody like me.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Oh, I completely agree. There's your takeaways from Connor and Josh. Josh has takes on the broadcasters.
I always do.
Back with more next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
I think one takeaway from this that we can all deduce, this guy is not with CMU. If this would have been one of their people, he would have said that. That's actually Bob. Bob just happens to look like the sign stealer.
They would have said that in the statement yesterday put out by the athletic director. So it's obvious they're not sure exactly who he is.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from Canoyer Garden Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Windy and warm for your Wednesday afternoon with the high today in Omaha at 63 degrees. Expect partly cloudy skies to clear as we head into our overnight hours. Still remaining windy early this evening, mild but chillier, a low of 35. Sunshine returns along with breezy winds for your Thursday. A high tomorrow still 57. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees. The Source. By your mom's house.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Betting on your favorite sporting events just got a whole lot easier. Warhorse Sportsbook is now open in Omaha. Save yourself the drive across the river and put your money where your mouth is at Horseman's Park, 6303 Q Street. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Jason Peter breaks down the Michigan State game and previews Maryland Thursday at Holy Ghost Church on 52nd and Q. Doors open at 5, program starts at 7, and it's only $10 for adults, $5 for children. Sponsored by Ray Martin Company and Mama's Pizza.
Creighton Sports Update.
Blue Jay basketball has finally returned. Creighton women's basketball kicks off their home regular season on Friday, November 10th, with an 11:30 a.m. tip-off versus South Dakota. Creighton men's basketball returns on Saturday, November 11th, for Military Appreciation Day versus North Dakota State at 1 p.m. Tickets for both games can be purchased at gocreighton.com/buy. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Get big savings and big rewards during Pro-Vember at Lowe's. Right now, MVP's members earn 3 times the bonus points on DeWalt products and save $200 on a DeWalt sliding compound miter saw. Plus, earn 3 times the bonus points on Little Giant products and save $70 on a Little Giant multi-position 14-foot ladder. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 11/22.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
And now, try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. A Wednesday edition of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. If you've missed anything from the show, you could check it out. It's updated segment by segment at 1620thezone.com by Josh.
That's me. That's what I do. Turn the brakes.
And there's rarely any times where it doesn't work. So, it just goes right up there right away.
Zip, right on up.
We'll talk to Mitch Sherman in about 15 minutes here. Ask him about his artful question asking skills from yesterday. But we have another chapter in the Michigan saga, which is great. I look forward to every day waking up and opening my phone and seeing that something weird has happened in the Michigan story. Where's Connor Stallions today? Is he running a vacuum cleaner company out of his apartment?
Didn't have that on my bingo card.
Nope. Or what about yesterday when we got this little story? I read the headline and I thought, what's happening? Michigan running back Blake Corum denies involvement in Connor Stalions' business. Quote, I have no business with him. All right. So I clicked easily. That was a Mike Schaefer. Should I click on this link? I clicked immediately. Speaking to reporters Tuesday night at the football facilities, Corum said he was surprised as anyone to see his name listed alongside Stalions, who's a former analyst, believed to be the center of the in-person scouting operation that may run afoul of NCAA rules, as an organizer of BC2 Housing LLC in Wyoming.
What could that mean?
BC2. What number does Blake Corum wear at Michigan, Josh?
Couldn't tell you.
Believe
I
it's
gotta
2.
guess.
Corum says, quote, I know exactly what you're talking about. My first time hearing it was when I went out to practice. First of all, I have no business with him. I don't have any business with Connor or anything like that. But I'm glad whoever found it, whoever was searching the web, was able to find that. I appreciate you. My attorneys are on it. We'll definitely get that figured out right away and get my name taken off of whatever it is. Asked if he's involved in any business with Stalions, Corum replied, quote, heck no. And then it took somebody about 10 seconds to go look at Blake Corum's old IG pictures and find that he was promoting hashtag BC2. 2 years ago, something like that?
Yeah. Probably just a coincidence.
So what issue does this bring up? Not anything that we didn't know. They could try and say that he was rogue and they didn't know the guy as much as they want. Everyone in the world knows it's not true. So congratulations to Michigan, who has now attempted the trifecta, I believe. And maybe there's more out there. The trifecta of deflecting. The deflection trifecta. Deflection number 1. I don't even know that guy. Who is he? He's rogue. I don't know him. That's all mixed into one.
Somehow got on the sideline, credentialed.
Yeah, I don't know that guy. I don't know that guy. All right, guys, people aren't buying that. What's our next excuse? We'll sue you, which is a totally normal response, right? We're just, all right, fine. We'll sue you.
When you haven't done anything wrong, a great defense is to sue.
Which now that may be their best deal. That may be their best thing, because we're talking about, suspensions or fines coming down in the next couple days. And, if Michigan says, I don't think so, we're going to take you to court on this thing, then they can basically withhold the suspensions until that's all through there.
Gum up the works.
Gum up the works, as they often say in your favorite lawyer television shows. So that one may be good for them. We'll sue you. The third one is the funniest one, and it's absolutely the least true. Well, it might be. I don't know if it's less true than the he's rogue one, but it's very untrue. Everyone does it. No, Michigan, not everyone does this. Everyone steals signs, yes. But what you're doing is that, plus sending a guy and his many employees to go to various games across the country and videotape them, bring them back to you, and implement those into your game plan and into your signs during an actual game. That's not what everyone does. Not everyone does that. We have to, once again, understand nuance just a little bit. Yes, like maybe it's the problem in the name that we have, right? We're calling it the sign stealing scandal. That's almost not harsh enough.
Yeah.
Because everybody steals signs, right? And that's their argument. Sign stealing scandal. Look, everybody's stealing signs. Of course, everybody's stealing signs. Coaches around the country have admitted that profusely over the last 2 weeks. Everyone steals signs. It's perfectly legal to steal signs.
Trying to gain an edge.
What Michigan is doing is very unlegal. Illegal, some might say. And not everyone does it. So they're doing something a little different. Maybe we should rename this thing. It's not a sign stealing scandal. It is it really is closer to Spygate than we sort of thought. Now, as I said at the very beginning of this thing, like, is the idea of there's no advanced scouting in college football outdated and weird? Yeah, definitely. Is the fact that we don't have helmets and or microphones and speakers inside the helmets super outdated and weird?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. We could do a lot here. But the fact of the matter, Michigan, is no, not everyone is doing this. So I know that they haven't actually said anything about this yet. These are the deflections that sort of just come out. These stories don't come out of nowhere. And I do want to say this, and I've sort of, reiterated this at every turn during this story. The defense plan, especially in the court of public opinion, often tells you a lot about what people may find when they pull back the curtain, right? And the fact that Michigan has been so defensive and so deflective about all this stuff, and like I said, they haven't officially said anything, but once again, there's a reason these stories come out. They've been so defensive and so deflective about all these things, and they're Michigan, right? There's no, like, there will be no admission of guilt here from the Wolverines.
Oh no,
I do not believe that there will be an admission of guilt. There will be, and because there won't be a cooperation, there will be a suspension and fines, and maybe you retroactively take away wins and stuff like that. But by that time, it gets through the courts and all that stuff, it's going to be already over, and Jim Harbaugh will be long gone. And so that's why there's the pressure, I think, from Big Ten coaches and Big Ten ADs to be like, hey, we got to do something right now because they're going to get away with this. There's not enough time for them to not get away with it at this point. And Michigan, with their deflections, makes it more difficult to swallow because of their hubris about the entire thing, because of their deflections, and because, yes, they are Michigan. Their reputation precedes them a little bit. Their coach is Jim Harbaugh. And he knows he's Jim Harbaugh, right? I run the world, and that is it's a very entitled program, Josh.
How could I be stealing signs when Ric Flair's here wooing it up with me each and every afternoon?
It's a very entitled program, and their fans are very clearly following suit in this regard. I don't think that helps them. I don't think that helps them in this case. And great deal for Harbaugh is he gets to leave and gets to leave all of it in the dust, and the fans are left to, sit there, and they're defending this guy the entire time, and they're going to be the ones sitting there after the whole thing falls apart and he's gone.
Gosh, if only there was a parallel you could draw all of this to.
Like what, Josh?
Oh, I don't know.
Go ahead, be specific.
Various leaders of the free world. You decide which ones.
But yeah.
Also,
maybe there's a punishment coming down today.
If you're not a Michigan or an Ohio State fan, just let this be the funniest story you've ever heard in your life.
Oh yeah,
like
I'm consuming all of it. Give it to me like a Zeke Elliott doing that thing, with the spoon.
We don't have to get all bent out of shape about this because it's hilarious.
Oh, I'm absolutely not bent out of shape. I agree with you completely.
There's an Airbnb. There's a porch with a bunch of bikes on it for some reason.
There's an LLC. There's a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, vacuum cleaner. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Every time
the countless videos. The best part, honestly, the best part about this entire thing was the Central Michigan stuff. That was the best part. With his glasses, with like the little light on the side.
And now
and how nobody knew who he was.
The Chippewas are like, yeah, NCAA, we'll help you find this guy. We're as shocked as you are.
like I've heard Josh and John's promo. Like, if that was cool and legal, Central Michigan would have been like, oh yeah, that's Larry.
I guess he does kind of look like Connor, doesn't he?
They have not said that.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah. So maybe there's punishment coming down today, and maybe there's not. But Michigan has been informed that there are these allegations against them, and then they're in this like period of time to respond right now. This is all going to get gummed up, like you said, and I don't know that we'll see any real action before the end of the season. Maybe there's an immediate suspension of Jim Harbaugh, but once again, that would be pushed back. It's like what Major League Baseball players do when they hit a guy in the head in Game 6 of the World Series. I don't want to get suspended for Game 7 of the World Series, so I'm going to appeal it, and you can suspend me for Game 1 of 2024. Sick. Great
deal for me.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Michigan's going to be in the playoff, and I'm going to have to root for Georgia to beat them.
Georgia, the good guys.
I don't want to root for Georgia.
Georgia, the good guys. Go big Georgia.
How's Kirby going to motivate them if the entire country's rooting for them?
That's true. That'd be a challenge for them. Michigan could say it's us against the world. Very sad. I hope to God they lose to Ohio State. Michigan does. That would be really the best ending to this entire thing.
It would, because then you and I would be right
Yes.
about our preseason predictions.
That's right. We're big Ohio State guys here. The underdogs in the story, really.
The plucky underdog, Ohio State Buckeyes.
Mitch Sherman is coming up next. We will chat with him about all things Huskers, that quarterback situation we spoke about earlier, and plenty more next on 1620 The Zone.
Caller 4 right now, 402-951-1620. Qualifies for 1620 The Zone's 4-quarter pick'em. It's your chance to pick 4 football games correctly against the spread to win $1,620. Call 402-951-1620. Call now to qualify with 1620 The Zone.
It's an NFL doubleheader on Sports USA. And first, we're in Pittsburgh as the tough Steelers D with Fitzpatrick and Watt will try to shut down Love and the Packers.
Touchdown, Green Bay, Romeo Doubs.
Then it's off to LA as Herbert, Eckler, and the Chargers host the Detroit Lions with Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs. It's the Packers at the Steelers, then the Lions at the Chargers. This Sunday on Sports USA.
If it's the NFL, it's on 1620 The Zone.
Does eating at home have you singing the blues? Stop by Cobb's at the Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, or 72nd and Jones to grab a delicious pizza, burgers, fresh salad, and some tasty charred wings. They even offer keto crusts and an extensive variety of shareable appetizers. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Cobb's, now with 3 convenient locations to serve you. Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, and 72nd and Jones. Click cobbspizza.com to see the menu, pizza, and so much more.
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the stark inequalities that drive poverty. The poorest communities in the U.S. and around the world are suffering the most. Oxfam believes we can put systems in place to protect health and livelihoods in the future if we work together with dignity and compassion. Learn how you can help offer safety to the most vulnerable and fight for a more resilient future at oxfamamerica.org. Sponsored by Oxfam America.
You've had your Halloween candy. Now have your oyster at Shuck's Fish House. The Fall Oyster Fest is this Wednesday and Thursday. Get $13 a dozen Harbor House oysters plus a surprise premium oyster for $18 a dozen. Find out more at shucksfishhouse.com.
Hey there, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Outdoor Nebraska update. It's hunting time in the Husker State. For a safe season, remember to be totally certain of your target and your background before you fire that shot. In a moment, ask yourself, is the bullet flight path clear? Is that a legitimate target? And what am I going to hit if I miss my shot? Please be careful out there. If you'd like more information on hunting safety, go to outdoornebraska.gov. That's outdoornebraska.gov. From wildfowl to owls Great time of year to step outside and watch wildlife. Many animals are still active, plus the leaves have mostly fallen, vegetation is set back, and we'll have some warmer weather. Maybe you'll hike a state park trail or head to a public reservoir to do that. Oh, and don't forget your camera. Oh, it's on your phone. That's right. I'm Greg Wagner.
Omaha Maverick women's basketball hosts College of St. Mary at Baxter Arena tonight. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Hear all of the Omaha women's basketball action against College of St. Mary tonight at 7 p.m. on 1290 Coil.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman. The Athletic.
He can play. And we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royals. Let me live that fantasy. Oh.
Mitch Sherman. The Athletic. On the Connor Happer Show. On 1620, The Zone.
He can play.
He can play. Mitch Sherman of The Athletic joins us now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Mitch, hello. How are you?
Hey, Connor. How are you?
Very good.
And Josh.
And Josh. Yeah, Josh is so happy to be recognized in the conversation, which is great. Thank you. Keep doing that. It made Josh really happy. All right. So earlier, Mitch, we were talking about sort of Nebraska's quarterback situation over the next 3 weeks, which I don't think any of us are under the impression that it's changing with Heinrich Harburg at this point. And the conversation is in that regard has evolved into what might the future look like for Heinrich Harburg, and specifically that conversation right now. How little do we know, or how much do we know about what they want at the spot, and sort of where this offense might be going into next year?
We know that they want to be a better passing team, and that's fairly obvious. You're not going to have any kind of plans coming out of 2023 to just continue to build on what they're doing now. They're going to look for a change in the complexion of this offense. Not necessarily to say that they're going to require a change in personnel at quarterback. Now, that may happen, but they're going to look to do some different things. And some of that's dictated by the personnel at other positions. They will be older and deeper and presumably free of a lot of the injuries, at least to start the season next year, that have hurt this team, this offense in a big way at wide receiver and running back. So, and then they're undoubtedly going to look to just diversify the passing attack and do a lot more than what we're seeing right now, what we've seen them try to do over the last 6 or 7 games. So that's going to depend on how much they can. If Heinrich Harburg is involved in that mix, it will depend on how much he can develop over the next 6, 7, 8, 9 months. And I think they're also going to bring in somebody to compete with him. You know, whether they bring in somebody, I don't think they're going to be in the place like a year ago in December where it was, let's go out and find a quarterback who is just the heir apparent and can we're going to put the ball in his hands and just let him kind of not coast through as far as the what the expectations are of his responsibilities, but Jeff Sims didn't really have to battle for the job. Whoever the next quarterback is at Nebraska, or if it continues to be Heinrich Harburg in 2024, that player is going to have to battle for the job through the offseason, spring practice, maybe even into fall camp.
What do you think their ideal? I mean, because I agree with you, there's going to be a portal guy in there one way or another, depending on sort of what they're looking for. What do you think the right amount of, whether it's experience I think we know kind of what they want in terms of a skill set. It doesn't necessarily match the guys that are on the roster right now or the guys that have been playing this year. But like, I think is there a lot to figure out on where you're going with the sort of operation of the offense before you sort of figure out how you're going to plug in quarterback?
Yeah, and I think they have a pretty good sense of that. I mean, Marcus Satterfield hasn't kicked his offense down the tracks. I mean, they've kind of just set it on the back burner and taken away a lot of the elements that they are comfortable doing and that he's done historically. And we'll see how that evolves if they continue to incorporate some of the scheme that they've added this year with the option and the different things out of that some have worked. Some they haven't gotten the results they want. I mean, I think there's going to be a little bit of a change from what he intended to do in 23 to what he ends up intending to do in 24. And some of that will be impacted by, who the quarterback ultimately is. I mean, if it's a guy who sits in the pocket and they run only on, in entirely needed situations, then the offense is going to look different than if they have a guy who's mobile. So I think it's dictated by the personnel to some degree, but it's also going to be kind of a reset after this season to go back to what Satterfield likes and what he's comfortable with.
And we talk about quarterback a lot. Obviously, there's a reason why it's super important. They're going to be heavy in the transfer portal for running backs, I'd imagine, too, right?
Maybe. You got more eligibility with Gabe Ervin and Ramir Johnson has another year if he wants to use that, and Emmett Johnson is young in this program. But yeah, they don't have a running back in this recruiting class right now after the decommitment of Kwan Lacey. And I think they'll try to add somebody for sure in that freshman class before signing day next month. And that would be a position I think that they'll look at in the portal. If they don't come out of the offseason with another running back, and Josh Fleeks is gone, and I think this is probably it for Anthony Grant. He's a senior, and I'm not sure.
I don't think he has another one.
Yeah. I don't think so either. It's always a little bit tricky with transfers who were in school in 2020 and figuring things out. But he's listed as a senior, so this would likely be it. I think the portal or junior college is in the cards for sure at running back. I just talked myself into it.
What did you wrote this or you wrote this in your story from Monday's press conference. Rhule said it. Here's what I love about Heinrich. Not everyone would want to be the quarterback in this situation right now. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot riding on your shoulders. He wants to do it. He wants to be out there. As I've told him, when I coach Heinrich, I'm not coaching for right now. I'm coaching for next year and the year after. And obviously that's a big nod to, they're not, they approach Heinrich Harburg a little bit differently than maybe the previous offensive coordinator. That's for sure. But also him being, despite what we see sometimes, and it's seemingly moving a little bit too quick for him, him wanting to be out there gives Nebraska sort of the best option in this situation.
Yeah, the unspoken thing there is, well, do the other guys want to be out there? And I don't think that they don't want to be out there. Although, you wonder with Jeff Sims, because he's played in 4 games, and if he wants to continue his career, it would maybe make sense for him not to play in any more this year. It would cost him a year eligibility, and just don't know enough about where Jeff Sims is at and what he feels about this. As the season has gone terribly wrong for him on the field, of course, based on what he expected coming in. So where does that leave him? And, is he available for the last 3 games? It's probably a good question for Rhule, whether Sims is available to play, whether he would put him in, or if they have to go to a backup, would they go to Chubba Purdy? But, Chubba Purdy's got a headset on, and he's in this as recently as this last game, and he's signaling in plays and communicating with the coaches in the press box, Satterfield and McGuire. So it's not as easy as just saying, hey, all right, get in the game, because you got to find somebody to then take his spot. That can happen if it's at the end of a series and Harburg's got to come out because he got hurt or you decide to make a change. But if it has to be a quick thing, it would look like it would be Sims, and that that means burning a potential red shirt for him. So I don't know. I think but with what Rhule said about Harburg, it's just he has a lot of admiration and respect for Heinrich because of the attitude that Heinrich has taken this year in embracing this role. It wasn't an easy thing to do to step into when they were 0-2 and he had no experience and hadn't played quarterback in 2 years. You had inexperienced pieces around him, and then players started getting hurt. And the fact that he's kept his head up and taken hits and really been one to sacrifice for this team, that's earned him a lot in the eyes of Matt Rhule and these coaches.
What do you think was different defensively on Saturday against Michigan State?
Yeah, you heard Tony White on Tuesday talk about how he played it a little bit more conservatively. That was in his game plan to try to keep some things in front of them, prevent the big play. I think they thought maybe Michigan State would do some things to hurt themselves. That's kind of been their Michigan State's MO this year, is to play bad football and hand the ball over to their opponent. They weren't great in the turnover category before last week, and then they went out and played a turnover-free game against Nebraska. And I think Tony White was kicking himself a little bit because he thought if they would have put some pressure on and he would have taken some risks, that they could have forced Michigan State into some stuff, and they shouldn't have waited for Michigan State to make mistakes. Should have forced the issue, and he should have trusted his guys to have been able to make plays and tackle in space and cover one-on-one when needed. So, maybe the kind of passive, they just didn't seem to have the same edge to their play. And maybe that really did start with the game plan. And sometimes that might work great if the other team comes out and you get a pick and then things start to snowball. Well, then it really looks smart, but that's not the way that it worked out. And I think you'll see them do something different against Maryland, although Maryland's a different kind of offense. They score 30-plus points a game and have a quarterback who doesn't necessarily make as many mistakes, and he's really accurate and can pick you apart. And if you gamble, you can get quickly hit for a 70-yard touchdown pass. So it's going to be interesting to see how they – you don't want them to overreact to what happened last week and then get burned on the other side by Maryland.
What's Nebraska's record over the final 3 games?
Well, I think they'll be in the win column. I don't think they're going to go 0-3. Whether it's 2-1 or 1-2, I don't have a great feel. These teams that they're playing are all pretty flawed, and there's questions about Maryland and whether Maryland, after this 4-game skid, how bad they want it. If there's some lethargic play going on, and maybe that was just playing Penn State at home and getting behind, and some guys started to hang their heads, and they'll come out on fire with their attitudes on Saturday in Lincoln. We'll see. I think we'll get a good sense for Maryland pretty quick, just with the energy that they have and what they look like in the first couple of possessions, and that'll give me a better read on this game. I think if Maryland is on it, and it's like the good Maryland, then Nebraska is going to have a hard time beating them.
Agreed.
I just don't know if they can keep up offensively. And, if the game gets into the 20s, Nebraska has a hard time scoring 20-plus points against any defense. So it's not like, well, Maryland's not as good as Iowa or Wisconsin's defense. I don't know that matters. They're not going to score. Nebraska's not going to score a lot of points against anybody, and Maryland can score. So, but if they're looking kind of down, then I might say I like Nebraska's chances to win. As for the last 2, going to Wisconsin is a lot easier task, or not easier, but it's more manageable, and there's less pressure if you're at 6 wins when you go there. They give Nebraska a better shot to get to a 7th win against Wisconsin the only way it can get to 7 if it has 6 going in. But right. I give them a better shot to win the game, if they win this one here and take that pressure off of bowl eligibility. But I think they'll find a way for sure to win 1 and maybe 2.
Yeah. Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. Mitch, always appreciate the time. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks. Take care, Connor.
Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. I think he makes a good point about the pressure of bowl eligibility for this weekend. Sure would be nice if you could have that all tied up in a bow before you go to Madison.
The exhale would help in so many ways.
Yeah. That turned from we're playing downhill to, oh God, we better get this very soon. Like very, very, very quickly. And it happened that can happen when you lose a game that you're, I don't know about not supposed to lose, because they're all games that Nebraska's going to be in the 50-50 margin, just firmly right in the middle of that. But I didn't see many people picking against Nebraska on Saturday against Michigan State, including ourselves.
Guilty.
So, I don't know. That Maryland offense does certainly scare me a little bit. But are they on quit watch? Are they on quit watch more than Michigan State even was on quit watch? Long flight to the middle of the country for an 11 a.m. game. Body clocks are weird. I don't think Peacock factors into this at all, but it'd be funny if it did.
Definitely not where they thought they would be at this point in the season.
Yeah. This has been the MO for Maryland. Play pretty well right out of the gate against nobody, and then here comes the schedule, and you get beat up a little bit.
Haven't won a game.
They got really beat up against Penn State.
Last
week. I didn't expect that. I thought that'd be closer.
Haven't won a game since September 30th.
That's a long time ago, Josh.
It is.
So I think that's what you're hoping for this week for Nebraska. We'll come back. Still a couple more things to cover. I'm going to get to some quotes from Tony White yesterday. Anything else that you guys have as well? Connor at 1620thezone.com. Go ahead. Email into the Equitable Bank inbox. Back with more on 1620 The Zone. But speaking of the weather getting colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you're thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. Just place a nice little moneyline bet. You can do it for Thursday Night Football tomorrow if you want to, too, or any NFL game this weekend. Moneyline bet, they win. It's $150 in bonus bets. Pretty easy, right? Plus, on the FanDuel Sportsbook, there is spreads, player props, anytime touchdown scores, over-unders, so many options for you. I mean, Super Bowl winners, you can go all the way down the line in the NFL. FanDuel.com/Happer. Kick off the NFL season with FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. 21 and over. Present in Iowa. First online real money wager. Only $5 pregame money line wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. Football season is here. You'll be going to games and you want to see all of the action on the football field. Kugler Vision can help you ditch the glasses or ditch the contacts for good. Visit them online at kuglervision.com.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
With over 45 years in business, Thrasher Foundation Repair makes stressful home repairs super easy with precise repair and genuine care. From basement waterproofing to foundation repair, concrete restoration, and crawl space repair, you can count on Thrasher to handle it with ease and expertise. Schedule a free estimate today at gothrasher.com.
Precise repair, genuine care, Thrasher.
Jason Peter breaks down the Michigan State game and previews Maryland Thursday at Holy Ghost Church on 52nd and Q. Doors open at 5, program starts at 7, and it's only $10 for adults, $5 for children. Sponsored by Ray Martin Company and Mama's Pizza.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is two $25 vouchers for just $25 to 72 Table and Tap. Try one of the 20 beers on tap or any of the 150 whiskeys. They also serve salads, tasty bar food, flatbreads, pizzas, sandwiches, and desserts. 72 Table and Tap. Eat, drink, gather, and repeat.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Hi, everybody. Kent Pavelka here with why I chose Everlevel Concrete Repair for my driveway. They do it all. They fix cracks, lift sunken slabs, protect the finished product from deterioration, and all at a fraction of the price of replacement. It's not a Band-Aid like other repair methods. Everlevel's products are designed to last, which is why they've been voted Best of Omaha again this year. Better yet, it all comes with a transferable warranty. Protect your concrete before winter. Call Everlevel today for your free inspection. Everlevel. They make your driveway Everlevel. Level up.
Dell's Black Friday event is their biggest sale of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. It's the perfect time to upgrade any home, business, or gaming setup powered by Intel Core processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Since 1972, family-owned and locally roasted Host Coffee Service has been roasting the finest coffee for businesses and restaurants. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go, but I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there, providing hot meals, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding.
To learn more, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Did you happen to see today's very bad take by Dan Wetzel?
Is that the tweet going around?
We could do Dan Wetzel bad take of the day as a segment on the show instead of the top 5 if you wanted to.
He both sides did the Connor Stallions story, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
The lead, the headline actually to the story is either everyone's guilty or no one is. Once again, this is not like a, man, the court of public opinion got them and they got swallowed up in the whole Twitter monster and that, because like I can actually see that in some cases, right? It's like, man, this thing went from one thing and it went to another really, really quickly. No. This is absolutely not that. We know the facts. As Ryan Walters said last week, like we have all this information. We're armed with it at this point, and we understand exactly what Michigan did and exactly the rules that it is breaking. And like I said, while we can critique the rules, it's not a everyone is doing this situation. It's just not.
You're either a cheater or you have no institutional control. Which would you like to cop to?
So there's the I guess the part of the story was, that Wetzel's talking about is Ohio State, Rutgers, and Purdue were, he says, operating the equivalent of a criminal conspiracy, pure white collar stuff. In the end, they both stole or participated in the stealing of the same thing, information on opponents' play signals in an effort to secure an advantage. It's just, you can, by the way, you can try to secure an advantage. That's well within your rights.
Trying to win the games. Some might say the talent they had on the field was all the advantage they needed.
Wetzel says, whatever it is, just make it even, because the actions of Connor Stallions and the actions of that of Ohio State, Rutgers, and Purdue allegedly engaged in are the exact same thing. Yes, the exact same thing.
Agree to disagree.
Even if Ohio State and Rutgers acquired Michigan signs via NCAA legal game film or during game action, it doesn't matter. Purdue didn't do that work. The Boilermakers received some stolen signs from advanced scouting. They cheated just as much as Michigan. No. What Michigan is doing is like a super covert operation with one guy, and he has a staff. And then they're relaying their messages through the entire thing. Like, this is not, we can't do this to this situation.
No.
Like, this is not as simple as, well, here's evidence of everybody else. Like, we're just falling into Michigan's trap, I think, at that point. So that's not what's happening, by the way. Thank you, Dan Wetzel. I appreciate your bad take of the day.
Enjoy your clickies.
I want to take a minute or two to talk about Nebraska's defense, because we were going to get there yesterday. We stopped just short of it. So brought it up there with Mitch. I asked him the question, like, what happened on Saturday? Tony White had some quotes yesterday as he spoke. He said, when we bust assignments or we don't know what we're going to do and our eyes are in the wrong place, that's bull crap. Let's get that straight. It's bull crap. I love bull crap. We gave up some fade balls, and Q was in a great spot. We live with that. That's playing ball. But we don't cover the damn tight end on 3rd and 3 to defense we've been playing all year. You could see it still bothers the hell out of me. White said, quote, we didn't make the play. We were put in some positions where I wasn't aggressive enough as a play caller. A couple weeks back, I talked about them letting go and trusting the plays, and we were stuck in a rut that we didn't want to get too aggressive and have one pop. That's 100% on me as a play caller. You have to be able to trust those guys having an instinct and go let them go. I didn't let them unleash and make a play. I think, what he said is sort of reassuring, because I think a lot of people watched the game on Saturday and they thought, there's something going. Yeah. There's something with the defense where it's not quite. And I just mentioned, after the Purdue game and, coming back on that Monday, I had the whole thing of like, wow, I believe. And that was a lot because the defense was playing so downhill. And I was under the impression that would continue and the turnovers would come as sort of a result of that. And they didn't. Look, if you want to, I know we parse through everything the offense does on Monday mornings or on Saturday nights or on Sunday. On Severe Reaction on 1620. Like, I know we parse through everything the offense does and the quarterback does. And obviously it could do a lot of things a lot better. But the difference in that game was Nebraska's defense.
Yeah, it looked different.
Go back to what Matt Rhule said several weeks ago. He was like, the defense has to understand that this is a defensive football team. And I think what he meant by that, and he tried to clarify that weeks later, but like, I think what he meant by that is we know what the offense is going to do, they're going to probably turn the ball over like 3 times. So
you go win the game.
You got to go win the game for us. You got to really, really be on your P's and Q's. You have to be there in order for us to win these football games, because we're just not in a good place offensively right now. Defense, you're capable of helping us, of being a plus for us. Your pluses have to be pluses. And your equals, have to be equals. But yeah, it underlines a lot of things. Nebraska's margin for error is obviously super thin. But I was glad that Tony White sort of, I don't know about taking responsibility, because it's not out of the norm for him to take responsibility, but that he said a lot of the things that people, when they watched the game on Saturday, saw. They're like, man, something's odd here. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're really playing downhill. It doesn't seem like they're really getting after it today. It's not for a lack of effort. It turns out is because it was just the defensive game plan was a little bit more of, yeah, we thought that they were going to make mistakes, and so we sat back on them a little bit, and they really took it to us, and that's my bad.
I just think that's a very weird strategy.
Well,
when you've shown that you can play pretty angry, pretty downhill, as we've said.
I think they were probably a little bit concerned about the quarterbacks getting after it and running it a little bit too.
Okay.
So that's where you want to be careful. That's where you want to sort of sit back a little bit.
Something you have to watch for this weekend as well.
I am curious to see what happens with that this week. I don't know that Tulia, I don't know his rushing stats, but he's not going to get after you and run it too much. But he certainly is the best quarterback they've played since J.J. McCarthy. Like, just straight up. Maryland has good wide receivers. Like, we know what they want to do on offense. I'm curious about Nebraska's defense and how they might play it this week. Do you kind of sit back and, when you sit back, you're going to let them get some yards and you're going to let them possess the ball. And if you get the ball back after that and your offense ends up turning it over anyway, then you're in real deep trouble, right? So I'm curious to see how they play it this week against Maryland. And then against Wisconsin and Iowa, obviously you just have to be really, really good.
Yeah.
Because turning the ball over against those teams is hell. Wisconsin, I guess, a little less this year, obviously, but turning the football over against Iowa, I know Nebraska, we're used to watching Nebraska, just drop the snaps and random stuff like that, throw picks at the worst times this year, or just in times in general. But when you do it against Iowa, it's not going to be good, because they're just going to possess, or they'll just punt back. They'll just punt back to each other.
Yeah.
Punt. We'll punt. They don't have a great run game, so it's not, it's not really easy for them to extend drives. But I don't know. I sort of trust them to extend drives. Against Nebraska's defense, which has been not so great on third down this year, and you get Nebraska or they're turning it over. I'm interested to see which way they take it this week. But there's no doubt about it. And I mentioned it, I think, yesterday. We talk nonstop about the offense, and the quarterback thing is a super interesting conversation, and one that we'll have to have in the coming weeks and months of what happens next, and with Heinrich Harburg and all that stuff. But as for the next 3 games, Nebraska's defense can't look like that again. I know we hold them to a much, much higher standard than the offense. I understand that. Sometimes the bar is just higher. I think the bar will remain higher for the defense as long as Matt Rhule is here. They just have to be better. They just have to be really, really good in order for Nebraska to win football games.
I agree.
That's the story.
I wish I had more to say, but I agree.
Oh, too good of a take.
Yeah.
Aaron writes in.
You really nailed it. Hi, Aaron.
He says, it's nice to hear a coach take accountability. There wasn't excuses for some of the players, nor his play calling. I think that says a lot, even when the team still only gave up 20 points.
And it wasn't simply...
And it was a controversial 22,
yeah.
as Aaron said, because, the touchdown wasn't.
True. It wasn't, that starts with me, and just left it at that. There were details.
Yes.
There was, he showed his work on...
No, there's something to that. It is really super reassuring when you watch a game and you're like, man, something's off here, but I can't pinpoint it. And the coach volunteers that information on the next time he talks. I think that is an increasingly normal thing to have, by the way. You watch the game, everybody sees the same thing as they watch it back on the tape the second time. Like that's really reassuring. I think that's just where Nebraska needs to be, right? They need to take care of some simple things.
They know there's a smart fan base watching them, and they respect that.
A lot of respect for the fan base. Good to hear. Good to hear. We'll be back. Poll questions. We'll tell you what to watch on the other side. We had a few good poll questions today.
Oh, definitely.
Get your last votes in at Happer Show. We'll finish that out next on 1620 The Zone.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from Canoyer Garden Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Windy and warm for your Wednesday afternoon with the high today in Omaha 63 degrees. Expect partly cloudy skies to clear as we head into our overnight hours. Still remaining windy early this evening, mild but chillier, a low of 35. Sunshine returns along with breezy winds for your Thursday, a high tomorrow still 57. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Our Cox mobile plans are like a band. The more people you add, the better it sounds. So add more lines to save more. Pay as low as $30 per line when you add 4 or more gig unlimited lines. It's easy. I like the sound of that. Visit cox.com/mobile. 4 lines required for $30 per line. Price max of 5 lines. Prices exclude taxes, device activation, and other fees and charges, which are subject to change. Cox postpaid internet required. Other restrictions apply.
Omaha Maverick Hockey hosts LIU at Baxter Arena this weekend. Games are at 7 p.m. Friday and Saturday night. Pregame is at 6:45. It's UNO versus LIU this weekend on your home for Maverick Hockey. News Talk 1290 Coil.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-659-8080. That's 1-800-659-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-659-8080. That's 1-800-659-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Attention sales professionals. NRG Media is looking for an accomplished business-to-business salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to a new level. Is this you? Our account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on-site, audio, video, it's all part of what you can sell. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
There's nothing like football season here in Nebraska. Hi, this is Sunny.
And I'm Darwin with DJ's Dugout.
During football season, a portion of our sales at DJ's will be donated to the new Nebraska Vietnam Veterans Memorial Project being built in Papillion.
As a Vietnam veteran, I'm proud for DJ's to support the new Nebraska Vietnam Veterans Memorial.
To learn more about this meaningful project, visit nvvmf.org. DJ's Dugout is locally and Vietnam veteran owned.
Yeah, the Big East would have had a perfect first run through the first 2 days of the schedule, if not for who can we always trust?
I saw DePaul was losing to some nobody last night.
You got it.
They didn't pull that one out?
They sure did not.
Oh, sad.
They were losers last night to a school called Purdue Fort Wayne. IPFW, if you will. They're in the Horizon League.
Good old DePaul.
Yep, not great. Rick Pitino did wear a suit last night, though.
He did.
Good for him. He had the pocket square all ready to roll. I watched his post-game interview with Fanta, and he asked about the emotions and stuff like that. And he goes, the first thing I thought about when I walked out there was Lou Carnesecca.
Of course.
And I go, I'm so happy that this guy is here. I'm so happy.
Literally every post-game press conference this season, Rick will mention.
I love Lou Carnesecca.
I
hope that he talks about Lou Carnesecca in every press conference.
He will.
And I'm really happy that Ed Cooley is at Georgetown. Georgetown had people show up to their game last night.
Good. Respect to Ed Cooley.
It's weird when, we watch Georgetown on TV and there's nobody there.
You're like, this is Georgetown. This is a large city.
Maybe they'll get people to go to their games now. And they won against a thing called Lemoyne last night. So
Lemoyne?
Yes, Big East almost had a perfect opening round. Shout out to DePaul. Poll questions from yesterday afternoon's crossover. We start there. Do you wish we had more raspberries?
You know what? Yeah, I do.
59% say yes. Do kids slide anymore? No, damn kids.
I'm going to guess they don't.
58% say yes. They do slide still.
Really?
Which is good.
Shocker.
Did you talk smack to Daniel Davey?
I did not.
I did, yeah. 65% said no.
Sad.
Does it even matter if aliens exist? Nobody's asked this question before.
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
You made quite a case for it during the tweet bag. I think I agree with you.
57% say no.
No, it doesn't.
We shouldn't care about this as much as we do.
If they're not violent, then who the hell cares?
Is there a better nickname than Titanic Johnson?
Nope.
No, I think that's...
And there never will be.
That's as good as it gets. 67% say no. Do aliens say whoop, whoop, whoop?
There's no way.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. 55% say no.
Okay.
Those are the poll questions. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We're going to watch some college football tonight. Akron versus Miami of Ohio. Could I interest you in some action?
Is there any college basketball tonight? It's basketball season.
Nothing worth noting.
You don't want to watch FAU at Loyola Chicago?
No, because it's not on TV.
Okay. So there's nothing on TV tonight.
Right.
That's our problem?
Yeah.
ESPN Plus, Texas Tech and Texas A&M Commerce.
No, thank you.
All right.
That's the first action game, 6 o'clock ESPNU. At that same time on CBS Sports Network, Bowling Green takes on Kent State. Feels like they play every week.
Bowling Green and Kent State.
They play each other every week.
Do Bowling Green and Kent State play each other every week?
Eastern Michigan travels to Toledo tonight, 6:30 on the Deuce. That's ESPN2 if you're not hip with the lingo. NBA, the Spurs take on the Knicks at 6:30 on ESPN. Wemby's Garden debut. Oh my gosh, we have to freak out because Wemby's playing at the Mecca.
I miss those days, Josh. I miss the days when it would
I too miss those days, but today isn't one of those days.
I really liked it when SportsCenter would lead off with the LeBron highlights and the Kobe highlights from the Garden, and there would be like something different and special about it. I miss that.
I agree with that take. This isn't one of those days.
No, not yet. Maybe. I don't know. Wemby might be as good as them.
Oh, I think Wemby will be a very nice NBA player, maybe even a great NBA player, but it's like his fourth game or something like that. Like, let's pump the brakes.
LeBron played his first game at MSG pretty early.
Well, LeBron was LeBron. Warriors Nuggets after that, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Is that a playing game or a tournament game?
No, it is not.
It's
a regular ass game.
Thank God.
Hockey doubleheader on TNT tonight, 6:30. Panthers Capitals, and then Kings Golden Knights at 9 o'clock. Disney Plus has the season 2 premiere of The Santa Clauses. You only get the first 2 episodes. They're going to slow play that for you.
That's okay.
The Tim Allen television spinoff of the movie trilogy. I'm sure you're familiar with.
I saw one of them.
Okay.
Where he like turns into Santa,
Yeah.
he morphs into Santa Claus.
Yeah, probably the first one.
Yeah, Santa
God,
Claus.
I hope.
Yeah.
And finally, one of my favorite things about this show is how quickly the audience catches on to a bit. Several of you have sent this info to me, and I love it. Yes, it's that time of the quarter, yet again. It is country music's biggest night, the CMA Awards.
I swear to it is November. This has happened 5 times this year.
There's always a CMA show or a CMT awards show
it was no more than 4 weeks ago the last time we talked about a country music award show.
Yep. And there's another one tonight. Kelsey Ballerini, Kenny Chesney, Luke Combs, Dan and Shay, Alan Jackson, our favorite Jelly Roll.
Hell yeah.
Post Malone for some reason, Chris Stapleton, Zach Brown Band, and Morgan Wallen will perform.
Perfect.
Luke Bryan and Peyton Manning host, 7 o'clock, ABC.
It's always those guys.
It always is. I asked the question, why was Luke Bryan not on the Manning cast this week? Feels like a great cross promotion between corporate partners, ABC and ESPN. Why not tell Peyton Manning, hey, you need to have Luke Bryan on the Manning cast?
It's probably not interesting enough.
Then why is he the host?
Great question, because they needed another guy to host this award show that they do every 6 weeks.
Should we start a country music award show?
I think we could. We can make it on the circuit.
Yeah.
We can make it on What to Watch. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is what we're watching tonight, and that is the show. If you miss anything, check out our website, 1620thezone.com. The crossover is next.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio.